Chapter 13:14. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 took out their 6 automatons. The rest of the people present instantly despaired. Other than Zhao Feng, there were only 4 God-Eye descendants left, and they weren't in their best condition. So how could they deal with 6 automatons? Moreover, 2 of these automatons had reached the rank 8 ancient god level. Are we destined to fall here? The beautiful young woman was not willing to die like this. Even if she was a samsara immortal body, she would be useless in ancient god profound devil's hands. Damn it, there's no other way. The other 3 also stood rooted to the ground, their legs trembling. They had already arrived at the edge of death. These people are not ordinary. Zhao Feng's eyes darkened. He knew about the ruins of the Heaven's Legacy race, could use the God-Eye fusion art, could control the machines in the ruins, and even had powerful automatons. The background of these people was definitely not simple. Clang! Bang! Down below, ancient god-departed spirits group of 4 was being attacked by the 6 Heaven's Legacy puppets. Although they were already in a hopeless situation, they still fought with all their might to survive. Zhao Feng, just give up. Do you think you still have a chance to escape? Ancient God Black Extreme wickedly laughed. His companions were also very puzzled. They had already used their final trump cards, but Zhao Feng still didn't give up. Zhao Feng could not leave the central hall, not even with a life-saving divine artifact like the space-time robe. Once those 6 automatons finished off the rest of the God-Eye descendants, they would be able to kill the rest of the God-Eye descendants. Even with the abilities of the space-time robe, Zhao Feng could not keep running. Boom! At this moment, a rank 8 ancient god puppet cut the azure-robed elder's body in 2, obliterating even his soul. The peak rank 7 Eye of Destruction descendant fell just like that. Looks like I can only borrow the strength of the blood flame Qilin race. Zhao Feng's face darkened. If it weren't for the fact that they were in dire straits with no way out, Zhao Feng wouldn't have wanted to borrow the power of the blood flame Qilin race. However, the space here isn't stable, so I can only rely on the power of the rank 8 ancient races. Zhao Feng couldn't help but ponder. At that moment, the beautiful woman and Lin Chengwu were also killed by the mechanical puppets. In the end, ancient god-departed spirit was surrounded by all the automatons. Seeing that there was no chance of survival, ancient god-departed spirit decided to self-detonate. Given the power of his Eye of Death, if he detonated it, he would definitely inflict severe damage to ancient god profound devil's group. He's going to self-destruct. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly. Perhaps ancient god departed spirit's self-detonation would create a chance for him. Naive. Ancient god profound devil grunted. At this moment, the 6 automatons surrounded ancient god departed spirit. They stretched out their palms, and a layer of gray light mist immediately spread out. Buzz! The gray mist connected to each other, forming a single domain that surrounded ancient god-departed spirit and continued to shrink. Boom! Within the gloomy domain, ancient god-departed spirit brazenly self-detonated. The dark enchantment surrounding him was destroyed, but the remaining power was extremely weak and did not have much effect on the Central Palace Hall. So many tricks. Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. At this point, everyone who had come to explore these ruins had been eliminated by ancient god profound devil's group of 6. If news of this accomplishment were to get out, it would definitely shock the world. Zhao Feng, you won't be able to escape even if you grow wings now. Ancient god profound devil's gaze fell on Zhao Feng, and he gave a smug smile. The others also gave confident smiles of victory. Is that so? What if I manage to escape? Zhao Feng also smiled. Ignorant. Ancient god profound devil grimaced. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In a flash, the 6 cold automatons charged at Zhao Feng. Let's see how you escape. Ancient god profound devil savagely roared. In such a narrow space, with 6 belts of light and 6 automatons, how could Zhao Feng possibly escape? But suddenly, a terrifying aura that suppressed the entire battlefield appeared next to Zhao Feng. Bang! Blood-colored flames exploded around Zhao Feng. Although the 6 belts of light were not destroyed, they were greatly hindered. Other than the 2 rank 8 automatons, all the other automatons were sent flying and smashed into the ground. This energy, ancient god, profound devil's group of 6, all grimaced. This energy that had suddenly appeared not only possessed a powerful ancient bloodline, but also the energy of a peak rank 8 ancient god. As the flames faded, a massive blood-colored Qilin appeared next to Zhao Feng. Blood flame Qilin race. Everyone murmured in shock. How could there be a peak rank 8 ancient god here? Zhao Feng, you signed a contract with me. You can't tell anyone else about this. Ancient god Black Extreme immediately barked. The appearance of a peak rank 8 ancient god here had to be related to Zhao Feng. But back then, he had clearly signed a contract with Zhao Feng that prevented him from speaking of this matter. Since that was the case, why was this peak rank 8 ancient god willing to follow him? Your Excellency, what are your orders? While everyone was confused, the peak rank 8 ancient god got down on one knee in the air and respectfully spoke. Master, ancient god, profound devil's group of 6 were both shocked and confused. A mighty peak rank 8 ancient god was actually referring to Zhao Feng as his master. But if this really was the case, then this peak rank 8 ancient god was basically Zhao Feng's servant. Zhao Feng could order him to do anything without needing to explain why. For this peak rank 8 ancient god to appear here meant that he knew nothing. Take me out of here, Zhao Feng flatly said. Yes, the blood flame Qilin respectfully replied. After saying this, it gathered a ball of scorching flame energy in its mouth. If he could help the Lord God, he had to do his best and do his best. Oh no, ancient god, profound devil's group of 6 was taken aback. The energy produced by their god eye fusion art was already running low. The barrier around the central hall was extremely weak, and Zhao Feng could easily break through it. With the help of a peak rank 8 ancient god, the 2 of them would definitely be able to get through the layers of seals around the core area. Once Zhao Feng left, the space-time robe would make it far too difficult to capture him. Ancient god Profound Devil's group immediately took control of the 6 automatons and attacked the Blood Flame Qilin. Their god eye fusion art was running low, and if they used it to deal with the Blood Flame Qilin, they would find it very difficult to capture Zhao Feng, so they did not use it. Chaos Origin Divine Palm. Zhao Feng circulated his Chaos Origin Divine Power and unleashed a massive palm of chaotic light that howled forward in an attempt to stop the automatons from interfering. At the same time, Zhao Feng aimed at the screen and unleashed an Origin Eye Bloodline technique. Boom! Bang! The barrier of nothingness that enveloped this place was directly blasted apart. However, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 had not only used the barrier to isolate the core area, but they had also sealed off all the entrances to the core area. Although the barrier was broken, it was still extremely difficult for them to get out. Bang! The Blood Flame Qilin unleashed its fiercest attack on a certain part of the wall. The entire central hall trembled. On the other side, the automatons had shattered Zhao Feng's attack and were now charging at the Blood Flame Qilin. Space-time barrier. Zhao Feng immediately used space-time intent to activate the space-time robe's ability. Hissus. A faint white layer of indistinct energy appeared between the automatons and Zhao Feng. When the automatons tried to approach, they were not only hindered by the space energy, but also by the time energy. Their movements and thoughts began to slow down. This kid's mastery of space-time intent is incredible. He was actually able to use the space-time robe's ability. Ancient God Black Extreme said in shock. The space-time barrier was an upgraded version of a space barrier. It had an extremely powerful defensive ability. A thin and withered eye of space-time descendant suddenly stepped forward. His eye of space-time immediately began to turn, and space-time intent engulfed the automatons. In a flash, the effect of the space-time barrier on the automatons weakened. Boom! Swoosh! The 6 automatons swung their massive swords and unleashed powerful attacks. Gradually, the space-time barrier created by the space-time robe began to weaken. The automatons were also getting much closer to Zhao Feng and the blood flame Qilin. But at this moment, bang, the peak rank 8 blood flame Qilin blasted a small hole in the sealed dimension of the central hall. As expected of the blood flame Qilin race, which specialized in combat, their attacks were extremely powerful. Let's go. Circulating his space intent, Zhao Feng and the blood flame Qilin passed through the small hole and left the central hall. Not good. He got away. Ancient God, profound devil's group of 6 was taken aback. What do we do? For a moment, none of them moved. They were in an extremely poor condition, and their fighting power was extremely low. They could not risk themselves. Moreover, Zhao Feng had a peak rank 8 servant. If they wanted to deal with Zhao Feng's group, just 2 rank 8 automatons would not be enough. In addition, Zhao Feng was skilled in space-time intent and had the space-time robe. If they sent a large number of automatons, they would have to worry that Zhao Feng would suddenly return. For a moment, they were caught in a dilemma. Since that's the case, let's kill him. Ancient God, profound devil's expression was extremely gloomy. He was furious that the mission had ended up like this. Our mission doesn't include Zhao Feng, but once the information on us gets out, we're done for. Ancient God Black Extreme was extremely supportive of Ancient God Profound Devil suggestion. If they captured Zhao Feng, they would be richly rewarded, but if the information got out, they would die without a grave. Fine, let's destroy this place. The others immediately stepped forward. They then went to the octagonal installation in the center. After a while, the 6 of them finally produced a transparent white screen of light. Activate the self-destruct sequence. Ancient God Profound Devil called out. The entire screen of light turned a faint red. In 100 seconds, this place will self-destruct. The 3 of you will be responsible for laying down the teleportation array. The 3 of us will be responsible for gathering the remaining research results and information. Ancient God Profound Devil immediately ordered. The 6 of them began to move out. At the end of this mission, they were supposed to destroy these ruins. Now, they could use this power to kill Zhao Feng. They didn't believe that Zhao Feng could escape from this destroyed dimension. Not even the space-time robe could do it. On the other side, Zhao Feng, who had escaped from the central hall, used the see-through ability of his left eye to observe the situation of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. They all left? Zhao Feng was rather confused. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 were able to control the mechanisms and machines of this place and not pursue him. What's that? Zhao Feng's eyes focused on the faint red screen of light on the octagonal installation. He didn't remember anything like this happening before. The words on the red screen were written in the language of the Heaven's Legacy race. Zhao Feng didn't recognize them, but for some reason, he had a bad feeling. Chapter 13:15. When Zhao Feng's group was being pursued, they had gone through almost every part of the core area, so they had a rather good understanding of the terrain. After escaping from the central hall, Zhao Feng decided on the shortest route and began to destroy it with the blood flame Qilin in an attempt to escape. They went to another place in the core area to take something. Zhao Feng's god spiritual eye could see through a certain distance and observe the situation. However, those 6 had split up into teams of 3. Even if Zhao Feng counterattacked, he might not succeed. Thus, it was best to escape first. After all, this was the ruins of the Heaven's Legacy race, and they were completely unaffected by this place, treating it like it was their own backyard. As for the little thieving cat, from the importance these people placed on it, he could tell that they would not lightly harm it. In addition, Zhao Feng also understood why the little thieving cat had intentionally allowed itself to be captured. He and the little thieving cat had a contractual connection. Even if they were separated by an entire zone, they could still maintain a weak connection. Once the little thieving cat was sent back to its base, Zhao Feng would know the stronghold of the faction behind these God Eye descendants. In addition, this faction knew of the Heaven's Legacy cat secret, so it probably had something the little thieving cat needed. Otherwise, it wouldn't have intentionally allowed itself to be captured. Moreover, The faction behind these people seemed to be conducting research on God Eyes. Perhaps it had something that Zhao Feng needed. It was precisely for this reason that Zhao Feng did not use too much of the blood flame Qilin race's power. Otherwise, those 6 God Eye descendants would have been no match for him. Although this was all very dangerous, the little thieving cat had the ability to divine fortune, so it was still somewhat confident. Boom! Bang! At this moment, Zhao Feng and the blood flame Qilin blasted open another small gap, and the two of them swiftly passed through. Your Excellency, this place seems to be the ruins of the Heaven's legacy race. The blood flame Qilin couldn't suppress his curiosity and asked, "Escaping is more important." Zhao Feng did not explain too much. On the other end, Ancient God Black Extreme's team was able to swiftly retrieve some important research results and data. Damn, the Heaven's Legacy Cat even threw a lot of research results to Zhao Feng. Ancient God Profound Devil was rather annoyed. So what if it's in his hands? Once the space shatters, he'll definitely die. The other person snorted coldly. Even so, it was indeed a pity to waste so many precious research results. There's not enough time. Let's go back. The thin woman said immediately. The self-destruction program only had 100 breaths of time, and now there were only 20 breaths of time left. In order to avoid any accidents, it was better for them to hurry over. In a small metal room, Ancient God Black Extreme's group of 3 had been waiting for some time. The teleportation portal here has been completely preserved. We just adjusted the teleportation location appropriately. Now, we can use it without worry. Ancient God Black Extreme smiled, and the group of 6 stepped onto the teleportation platform. Let's go. Let that kid be buried with this place. Ancient God Black Extreme's cold and sinister face gave a sinister smile. The biggest stain on their mission this time was Zhao Feng. If it weren't for Zhao Feng, their mission would have been completed much more smoothly. And in the end, they still could not kill Zhao Feng. They could only use the Fectus City's self-destruct sequence. That brat really got off easy. The thin eye of space-time descendant disdainfully said. Although he made quite a bit of trouble for us, he still gave us a Heaven's Legacy cat. Ancient God Profound Devil coldly said. Right, that cat should have a pet contract with that brat. What do you care about that for? If that brat dies, the contract will automatically disappear. The formation platform was activated, and silver runes were drawn out one after another. An ancient silver-white luster rose up and engulfed Ancient God Profound Devil's group. On the other side, although Zhao Feng was looking for a way out, he was still observing Ancient God Profound Devil's movements. A teleportation array. They're leaving? Zhao Feng was surprised. They're letting me go just like that. Zhao Feng couldn't help but smile. It seemed like these people couldn't do anything to him, so they didn't waste any time and left. But Zhao Feng still felt that something was wrong and began to think. Wait, I know so many of their secrets. How could they let me go so easily? Zhao Feng grimaced and began to panic. At this moment, Zhao Feng once more turned to the octagonal installation in the central hall. The faint red screen above the installation was constantly blinking. Although Zhao Feng couldn't understand the words on it, he could see a red band of light extending from the left to the right, about to reach the end. The energy around the core area seems to be flowing in. Upon careful observation, Zhao Feng realized that the energy within the octagonal installation was abnormally vast, and the ripples were extremely fierce. Not good. They want to destroy this place. Zhao Feng grimaced as he called out an alarm. From the perspective of Ancient God Profound Devil's group, if all the important things in these ruins have been dug out, what was the point of leaving these ruins behind? This would only leave behind some clues that would allow other factions to investigate Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6. Moreover, since Zhao Feng knew so many of their secrets, they had no reason to let Zhao Feng go. Combining the two, Zhao Feng thought of a possibility. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 wanted to completely destroy this dimension while also killing Zhao Feng. The octagonal installation in the central hall was the highest level machine in the core area. Not even ancient god, profound devil's group of 6, could completely control it. Thus, this octagonal installation was definitely the core of the ruins, able to connect to the entire dimension of the ruins. Just a moment ago, the octagonal installation had displayed a strange phenomenon. Not good. This place is about to be completely destroyed. Zhao Feng hurriedly said to the blood flame Qilin. Is there any way to quickly escape this dimension? Zhao Feng hastily asked. This was a critical moment of life and death. Escape from this dimension? The blood flame Qilin's eyes froze. It was already rather difficult for them to leave the core area. So how could they immediately escape this dimension? Zhao Feng knew that the blood flame Qilin couldn't do it, so he sent it back into the ancient dream realm. Since that's the case, I can only go all out. A look of determination appeared on Zhao Feng's face. Swish! Zhao Feng's body suddenly vanished from the spot. But a moment later, a fierce spatial ripple appeared. Zhao Feng and the blood flame Qilin race patriarch appeared in this place. Tiny spatial cracks immediately appeared around the blood flame Qilin race patriarch. With Zhao Feng's cultivation, if he carelessly approached a spatial crack, he would be torn to pieces. However, he had the supreme quality defensive divine artifact, the space-time robe, which was extremely effective against spatial cracks. Your Excellency, this place is... The blood flame Qilin race patriarch was confused. Zhao Feng had said nothing before dragging him here. For a moment, the blood flame Qilin race patriarch was confused. But a moment later, the blood flame Qilin race patriarch sensed that this dimension was about to shatter. Your Excellency, this dimension is too low level. It can't hold me. The blood flame Qilin race patriarch immediately said, think of every method, no matter the price, to get me out of this dimension. Zhao Feng hastily said. At this moment, the red light on the octagonal installation was about to reach its end. The blood flame Qilin race patriarch finally realized the gravity of the situation. If the Lord God wasn't in a life-threatening danger that he couldn't resolve, he would never have been called here. Okay. The blood flame Qilin race patriarch's eyes were dignified, and his body began to pulse with energy. As the blood flame Qilin race patriarch exerted his strength, the surrounding space began to twist. Countless spatial cracks of various sizes began to appear, and destructive spatial storms began to blow through them. Swoosh! Swoosh! Several dozen wounds of various sizes instantly appeared on the blood flame Qilin race patriarch's body. Although he had powerful vitality, his recovery speed couldn't keep up with the rate at which his wounds were increasing. At the same time, Zhao Feng followed the blood flame Qilin race patriarch's orders and activated the space-time robe's space-time barrier. Spatial barrier was extremely effective against space energy, and space-time barrier was its upgraded version, so it was naturally even more effective in this aspect. Under the protection of the space-time barrier, the blood flame Qilin race patriarch's injuries were temporarily stabilized. Meanwhile, Zhao Feng had both the space-time robe and space-time barrier to protect him, making him even safer. At this moment, the red band of light on the octagonal installation finally reached its end. The entire core area, as well as the surrounding areas, began to tremble with destructive energy. In a flash, Zhao Feng felt an incomparable pressure as the threat of death descended upon him. As expected, it's going to destroy this dimension. Zhao Feng's mind trembled, and even as God's spiritual eye began to thump. But he was too weak, and there was nothing he could do. At this moment, strange characters of flame began to circulate around the blood flame Qilin race patriarch, accompanied by powerful intent energy that began to fiercely ripple. In a flash, the surrounding space completely shattered. At the same time, those strange characters of flame revolved around the blood flame Qilin race patriarch and Zhao Feng. Bang! The two of them turned into a mass of blood-colored flames and exploded into nothingness. In the Xiling zone, a vast and desolate forest suddenly began to twist and distort. Kaboom! Suddenly, enormous spatial cracks tore open, and a terrifying storm of destructive energy poured out of them. The surrounding area for more than 100,000 li instantly became a forbidden zone. This destructive spatial storm, mixed with enormous shock waves of energy, wreaked havoc. At the edge of this forbidden zone, two figures suddenly appeared. So close. Zhao Feng's racing heart finally calmed down. The space-time robe on his body flickered with weak light. It was clear that it had sustained some damage while protecting Zhao Feng, and it was thanks to it that Zhao Feng had managed to survive. However, the spatial storm had still somewhat affected Zhao Feng, and the blood flame Qilin race patriarch's powerful secret art had also placed a certain burden on Zhao Feng. Plush. The blood flame Qilin race patriarch vomited a mouthful of scorching blood, a faint layer of flame on it. Wherever the flame landed, it would immediately ignite into a raging inferno. How is it? Zhao Feng immediately asked. In comparison, the blood flame Qilin race patriarch had used a powerful spatial escape art in this unstable dimension, so he had suffered far more severe injuries. There was not a single part of his body that was intact, and some parts of his body were so weak and blurry that even his white bones were visible. I'm fine. Although I've injured some of my energy, it's nothing serious. I just might not be able to help your excellency deal with some major dangers in the near future. The blood flame Qilin race patriarch immediately began to use a secret healing art. Go back. I'll remember what you've done today. Zhao Feng sighed. He truly had to thank the blood flame Qilin race patriarch this time. If not for him, even with the space-time robe, he would have been pulverized by the spatial storm, his soul extinguished. Swish! Zhao Feng took the blood flame Qilin race patriarch into the ancient dream realm. Little thieving cat. Zhao Feng half closed his eyes as he sensed a certain direction. Chapter 13:16. Let's get out of here first. Zhao Feng put aside the matter of the little thieving cat for now, put away the space-time robe, and swiftly departed. Such a large disturbance would definitely attract the attention of the nearby factions. In addition, the Blazing Gold race knew of this place, and the ancient god experts they had dispatched had all been wiped out. It wouldn't be long before the experts of the Blazing Gold race arrived. If they saw Zhao Feng, they would definitely think of a way to pin the crime on Zhao Feng. Moreover, the God Eye Assembly had ended long ago, so he needed to return to the spiritual race. 2 months later, Zhao Feng smoothly returned to the spiritual race. On that day, many upper echelon members of the spiritual race came to visit. Zhao Feng now had an extremely high status in the spiritual race, and Zhao Feng did not return after the God Eye Assembly ended. After asking the life-sacred land, they learned that Zhao Feng had left midway. The spiritual race had even sent out intelligence agents to gather information on Zhao Feng, but none of them had come up with anything. I made everyone worry. Zhao Feng clasped his fist and said, Zhao Feng, don't relax. Zhao Yufei is now the third elder's personal disciple. Ancient God Floating Spirit stroked his beard and smiled. Yufei has the spiritual race bloodline, and with the guidance of a half-step ancient god of the spiritual race, her cultivation, bloodline, and strength are certain to advance by leaps and bounds. A black-robed ancient god said. In his view, Zhao Feng had been too arrogant after breaking into the heavenly divine realm. He had an eye bloodline, but he didn't care about the God Eye Assembly and left as soon as there was a conflict. One had to realize that all the other Eye bloodline holders wanted nothing more than to stay at the God Eye Assembly a little longer. There were also a few Eye bloodline holders who didn't have the required cultivation and yearned to participate in the God Eye Assembly. But Zhao Feng had left midway on his first God Eye Assembly. The third elder's personal disciple, Zhao Feng was taken aback. Wasn't the spiritual race's third elder the half-step god, Lord who wanted to take him as a disciple after he broke into the heavenly divine realm, but was rejected? He did not expect the third elder to accept Zhao Yufei as his disciple after he left. However, the talent that Zhao Yufei displayed was indeed extraordinary. I'll take my leave first. Zhao Feng bid farewell to the elders. Zhao Feng did not tell the spiritual race about ancient god profound devil's group. Firstly, the enemy seemed to only be targeting god descendants, not the spiritual race. Even if he told the spiritual race, it might not be of much use. Secondly, if he revealed the location of the Heaven's legacy race ruins, he would be met with even more trouble. For example, the treasures that Zhao Feng obtained would be coveted by others. And now that everyone else had died, the Blazing Gold race and the major factions of the Antian Zone would target Zhao Feng. Therefore, Zhao Feng did not intend to say this matter. After returning to his residence, Zhao Feng immediately went into seclusion. After entering the space-time robe dimension, Zhao Feng first began to treat his injuries. While recovering from his injuries, he took out all the spoils he had obtained from exploring the ruins. The cultivating black destruction serpent dragon immediately opened its eyes and stared at Zhao Feng. In a corner of this dimension, Zhao Wang was holding the staff of death curse and cultivating. At this moment, Zhao Wang had already obtained the staff of death curse's approval. He had also obtained a great deal of death liquid from the Heaven's legacy race ruins, and the staff of death curse had helped him refine it, allowing him to smoothly break into the rank 6 true god level. Zhao Feng took out a crystal test tube, as thick as an arm from the pile of items in front of him. It was filled with red blood, giving off a feeling of magma. Boom! As soon as the lid was opened, a scorching pressure of the primordial bloodline surged out. It's a little weaker than the Blazing Gold race bloodline, but it's even stronger than the Blood Flame Qilin race bloodline. Zhao Feng could not determine what kind of bloodline this was just from its energy, only a rough estimate. Master, this is the bloodline of the Flame God race, ranked 48th among the 10,000 ancient races. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon immediately said. Ranked 48th. Zhao Feng was stunned. He hadn't expected for a random test tube to contain such a high-level bloodline. Master, could you bestow this to me? With this Flame God race bloodline, I'll definitely be able to break into rank 7 ancient god. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had a pleading look on its face. At its peak, it was a peak rank 6. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had long since recovered its cultivation, but it was still not strong enough to break into the ancient god level. The Destruction Dragon race bloodline was powerful and also had a Fire Dao attribute. It could refine and absorb the energy of the Flame God race bloodline. Let's talk about it later. Zhao Feng indifferently said. This Flame God race bloodline was also somewhat useful to him, and such a high-level bloodline naturally needed to be duplicated a few times first. Swish! Zhao Feng sucked it into his God Eye dimension and began to duplicate it. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon appeared disappointed, but it didn't dare to say anything. It only stared at the other items in front of Zhao Feng. There are at least 4 ancient bloodlines here that are as valuable as the Flame God race bloodline, as well as other precious medicines. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had a greedy expression. It was extremely curious as to how Zhao Feng had managed to obtain so many precious items in such a short time. Zhao Feng then inspected the other items one by one. Although he didn't understand much, he had the God's spiritual eye, so he could at least see a few things. The medicines in these small test tubes are even more valuable than the ancient bloodlines. Zhao Feng cautiously inspected the row of small test tubes in front of him. They contained medicines, powders, or small solid pieces. As Zhao Feng carefully inspected them, he discovered that each medicine had an unimaginable effect. One of the small test tubes was filled with a cold, sticky substance that could promote the evolution of the Ice Path bloodline. It could also be used to cultivate Ice Path cultivation techniques, and it could also be used as a cultivation treasure to comprehend the Ice Profound. There was another test tube that contained medicine that targeted the soul. It had a chance of transforming a normal soul into a unique soul. For example, Zhao Feng's lightning soul body was extremely resistant to tribulation lightning and was almost immune to normal lightning. It could even devour lightning to increase the power of his soul. The soul was the foundation of a person. If the physical body was destroyed, it could be rebuilt, but if the soul was destroyed, there would be nothing left. From this, one could see just how precious medicines that could increase the power of the soul were. Other than these two, there were also two more precious medicines. There was one last medicine that Zhao Feng couldn't determine. Other than these, there were also many precious cultivation resources that almost didn't exist in the outside world, such as the seven-colored reincarnation grass, the heaven void sacred spirit fruit, and so on. After organizing all the items, Zhao Feng was already thinking about how to distribute them. First, he would give the large amount of death intent crystals he obtained to Zhao Wang. Zhao Feng had previously obtained an intent crystal that contained the Eye of Death. See if you can take the Eye of Death within this intent crystal and use it for yourself. Zhao Feng gave this matter to Zhao Wang to handle. If he needed it, he could refine it himself. If he didn't need it, he could do as he pleased. After all, an eye bloodline wasn't necessarily powerful just because it was numerous. For example, the one-eyed ancient god Profound Devil only had one eye of myriad forms, but he was the strongest in his team. The Flame God race bloodline has been duplicated. Zhao Feng took out the two bloodlines, but he didn't give them to the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon. The Flame God race bloodline should also be extremely beneficial to the Blood Flame Qilin race. Zhao Feng's mind touched the dreamy silver ball in the God Eye dimension. In the next moment, he disappeared from this place. This is the Flame God race bloodline. The Blood Flame Qilin race patriarch trembled. They both had fire Dao bloodlines, but his was far inferior to the Flame God race bloodline. Besides this, Zhao Feng also took out several fire Dao cultivation treasures and gifted them to the Blood Flame Qilin race patriarch. After all, the Blood Flame Qilin race patriarch had been severely injured in order to save him. Many thanks, Your Excellency. The Blood Flame Qilin race patriarch excitedly accepted everything. In his view, paying such an enormous price to save Zhao Feng's life was completely worth it. Zhao Feng then returned to the space-time road dimension. These things are all too precious. They're extremely useful to me, the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon, Zhao Wang, Zhao Wan, Zhao Hui, and the others. Zhao Feng planned to make several copies of these resources before dividing them up. Although his duplication ability had greatly improved after the god's spiritual eye evolved, these treasures were all of extraordinary quality. Duplicating them would take some time. Fortunately, he had more time in the space-time road dimension. In a little more than a month, Zhao Feng successfully duplicated all these items. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon had also obtained the Flame God race bloodline that it had always dreamed of. After successfully duplicating these items, Zhao Feng impatiently entered a cultivation state. If I want to save the little thieving cat and get close to the faction behind Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6, if I'm not strong enough, I'll just be throwing myself into a trap. After consolidating his foundation and taking a few cultivation herbs, Zhao Feng's cultivation took another step forward and was now approaching the peak of rank 7. Zhao Feng was in no rush to increase his cultivation. Instead, he stopped and began to cultivate his intent energy. One day, Zhao Feng's mind trembled and he opened his eyes. Not good. The connection between me and the little thieving cat has been covered up. Zhao Feng grimaced. The methods of Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 could not be judged by normal standards. Through the contract with the little thieving cat, they had probably already learned that Zhao Feng was still alive. However, Zhao Feng was in the spiritual race, so he shouldn't be in any danger. But without the connection of the pet contract, how would Zhao Feng find the little thieving cat? At this moment, an item in Zhao Feng's interspatial dimension began to faintly twinkle with starry light. It was an ancient copper coin mottled with rust. How could this be? This copper coin. Zhao Feng immediately picked up the copper coin. This copper coin had been given to him by Lu Qinxin at the Fan Luan Ancient Sound Palace. He remembered that the power in the copper coin had already been used up. However, at this moment, the copper coin somehow possessed power again. I remember that Lu Qinxin used this coin to sense the little thieving cat's location when I was escaping from the marriage in the flooding lake city. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up. Although the bond between him and the little thieving cat had been covered up by a special method, he was still able to sense it. But at this moment, Zhao Feng could use the bronze coin to determine the little thieving cat's location. Chapter 13:17. After confirming that the bronze coin could sense the little thieving cat, Zhao Feng began to carefully examine it. This bronze coin was a gift from Lu Qinxin when he challenged the Fan Lun ancient sound palace. For this reason, even after the energy within it was used up, Zhao Feng didn't throw it away, nor did he have the little thieving cat take it away. At the time, Zhao Feng had confirmed several times that the energy within the bronze coin had completely dissipated. But why would the bronze coin regain its energy after several decades? This was truly rather strange. Moreover, this energy was different from the energy it had once contained. The energy within the bronze coin was an even more profound energy of the Tao of Destiny. Zhao Feng had no talent for the Tao of Destiny, so he didn't think too much about it. However, this bronze coin had once more provided enormous assistance to Zhao Feng. He inwardly thanked Lu Qinxin, or perhaps the reincarnated Lu Qinyin. Once I'm done with these matters, I'll go back to the continent zone. A look of certainty appeared on Zhao Feng's face. The spiritual race had the resources to open a path to the continent zone, but ordinary people didn't have the right to use it. However, Zhao Feng was now an ancient god and the most dazzling genius of the spiritual race. It would be no problem for the spiritual race to send him back to the continent zone. Zhao Feng had spent more time in the ancient desolate realm of gods than he had in the continent zone. However, he had a different feeling about the continent zone and the Azure Flower continent. He wanted to go back to spend time with his parents, see his friends, see if the Azure Flower continent was peaceful, see how the Great Gan dynasty and the Dark Moon dynasty were faring, and see how Lu Qinyin was doing. If he returned to the continent zone, Zhao Feng would definitely stay for a little longer. Thus, he had to first deal with the little thieving cat. However, if he wanted to save the little thieving cat, he would have to face extraordinary danger. Given how much importance the other party placed on the Heaven's Legacy cat, they would definitely hide it in the most secretive and well-guarded place. With my current strength, it's too dangerous. Zhao Feng shook his head. Firstly, the members of the other party's faction controlled the god Eye fusion art. This was already an enormous obstacle. If it weren't for the fact that Zhao Feng had the god's spiritual eye, he would never have dared to participate. Secondly, one could see from ancient god Profound Devil's group of 6 that this faction was definitely not ordinary and had as many experts as the clouds in the sky. Although Zhao Feng had the help of the Blood Flame Qilin race, he definitely wasn't a match for them in a direct confrontation. Moreover, Zhao Feng didn't want to use this power unless it was absolutely necessary. In short, this trip was fraught with danger. If I'm strong enough, nothing will be a problem. Swoosh! All kinds of intent crystals and cultivation treasures immediately appeared in front of Zhao Feng. He controlled the 5 elements, wind, lightning, space-time, and other intents, so the resources he required to cultivate were bound to be astonishing. Just what Zhao Feng was using was probably equivalent to the entire wealth of a rank 7 ancient god. The price was high, but the results were also incomparably shocking. In a little more than 2 months, Zhao Feng had raised his 5 elements, wind, thunder, and space profundities to the 6th level. Correspondingly, the Chaos Heaven Void Origin technique had reached the 2nd level, and his Chaos Origin Divine Power was even stronger, almost on par with the divine power of a rank 8 ancient god. Only then did Zhao Feng stop cultivating his profound power. Swish! With a flip of his palm, a black triangular piece of metal appeared in his palm. Let me see just what secrets you're hiding. Zhao Feng's left eye began to turn. The ancient god seal was a supreme low-quality divine artifact. When Zhao Feng first came to the ancient desolate realm of gods, it was extremely useful, able to crush ordinary low-quality divine artifacts. But now that Zhao Feng had broken into the ancient god level, this divine artifact was no longer of any use. However, ancient god Black Heaven had traveled a great distance to pursue Zhao Feng precisely to take away the ancient god seal. This meant that this divine artifact was not as simple as it seemed on the surface. In terms of toughness, the ancient god seal is completely comparable to a high-quality divine artifact. Zhao Feng was rather surprised. A low-quality divine artifact had the toughness of a high-quality divine artifact. It was no wonder that the ancient god seal was one of the best low-quality divine artifacts. However, the grades of god artifacts were not determined purely by their hardness. I remember that there was another seal within the ancient god seal. As he sent his mind into it, Zhao Feng once more sensed that there was another seal within the ancient god seal. As expected, this was a seal related to the Heaven's legacy race, and it was extremely complicated, even involving the soul. If one had a special technique, they could easily break it. However, Zhao Feng had no knowledge of this, and he certainly couldn't casually reveal the secrets of the ancient god seal. He could only rely on brute force, so he needed to spend some time. Boom! Zhao Feng circulated his chaos origin divine power and soul energy into the ancient god seal to batter at the seal. While Zhao Feng was battering at the seal, his god eye dimension was still duplicating many cultivation resources. 10 days later, the seal is broken. The ancient god seal in Zhao Feng's hand suddenly unleashed an enormous ripple of energy. On the other side, the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon was alarmed. This energy clearly belonged to the ancient god level. Buzz. BZZ. Azure characters flew out of the center of the ancient god seal and began to revolve around it. How strange. It seems to be modifying the ancient god seal. Zhao Feng's god spiritual, I carefully inspected the ancient god seal. The ancient god seal was as tough as a high-quality divine artifact, but its performance was rather low. At this moment, this energy seemed to be modifying the ancient god seal's performance. After a long while, the activity of the ancient god seal slowly faded. Zhao Feng sent his mind into the seal to carefully inspect it. The place where the seal had been broken was an independent dimension. This dimension contained an enormous energy source that was connected to the ancient god seal. What's that? Zhao Feng focused his gaze on the wall in front of him. A simple map had been carved into the wall, and next to it was an explanation written in the language of the Heaven's legacy race. Could the ancient Soul Hall be looking for this small map? Zhao Feng was rather confused. This map wasn't very large, and its structure wasn't very complicated. The places that really needed a map were usually large regions or places with complicated terrains. Such a simple map was completely dispensable. Zhao Feng couldn't understand the Heaven's legacy race language written on the side of the map, so he didn't know if there was some other reason. The secret of the ancient god seal had been unraveled, but it wasn't very useful to Zhao Feng. The only good thing was that after the seal was broken, the ancient god seal had been modified and its grade had increased. It had become a high divine artifact. This way, Zhao Feng would have a divine weapon that he could use and his strength would increase. High-quality divine artifact. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon's eyes froze. It had some understanding of the divine artifact in Zhao Feng's hand. It was originally just a low-quality divine artifact, but it had suddenly transformed into a high-quality divine artifact. It's time to move out. Zhao Feng rose and ended his seclusion. It had been more than 3 months since the little thieving cat was captured. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 was about to return to their base. Based on the reaction of the bronze coin, Zhao Feng was able to determine the general direction of the little thieving cat. It was actually in the same direction as the Heaven's legacy race ruins he had explored. That place was extremely close to the edge of the Xiling Zone. Based on his conjecture, Zhao Feng felt that they had probably already left the Xiling Zone. And in that direction, the zone next to the Xiling Zone was the Antian Zone. After deciding to leave, Zhao Feng first went to visit Zhao Yufei. The spiritual race's third elder resided in the spiritual race's forbidden ground. Even Zhao Feng needed to first announce his arrival before he could enter. Brother Feng, you're leaving again? Zhao Yufei was rather unwilling. Zhao Feng had only just returned to the spiritual race, and this was their first time meeting, but now Zhao Feng was leaving again. Zhao Feng could only say that he had lost the little thieving cat at the God Eye Assembly. Based on what he sensed, the little thieving cat was probably in the Antian zone. That damned thieving cat. I'll go with you. Zhao Yufei also had a deep impression of the little thieving cat. When she saw that Zhao Feng was going to the Antian zone and that the journey was so long, she reluctantly said this. Yufei, remember your promise to your master. At this moment, an ancient and ethereal voice came from the depths of the forbidden ground. Hearing this, Zhao Yufei immediately revealed a helpless expression. A strange expression appeared on Zhao Feng's face. After asking around, he learned that Zhao Yufei had promised her master that she would focus on cultivating to the ancient god level before she could step out of the spiritual race. As for the reason, it was because Zhao Feng had once refused the third elder's offer to take him as a disciple, and now that Zhao Feng was an ancient god, the third elder demanded that his disciple catch up to Zhao Feng as quickly as possible, perhaps even surpass him. Zhao Feng couldn't help but examine Zhao Yufei. She had only recently become a rank 5 true god, but her cultivation was already at the peak of rank 5. As expected of the spiritual race bloodline, and the third elder has high hopes for Zhao Yufei. He's basically doing his best to raise her. Zhao Feng mentally sighed. He was confident that even if he took the third elder as his master, he wouldn't be able to enjoy the same treatment as Zhao Yufei. After all, Zhao Yufei had the spiritual race bloodline, which was what the spiritual race valued the most. I'm not going. Brother Feng, you have to take care of yourself. Zhao Yufei immediately corrected herself. Brother Feng, the spiritual race should be sending a group to the Antian zone soon. You'll be safer if you go with them. Zhao Yufei seemed to think of something and bluntly said, Okay. Zhao Feng nodded and left the spiritual race's forbidden ground. He didn't know when he would be leaving the spiritual race. So Zhao Feng decided to pay a visit to the upper echelon of the spiritual race and ask Zhao Yufei about what she had just said. Correct, there truly is such a matter. The spiritual race has always been trading with the 5-star faction of the Antian Zone, Black Devil Peak. 1 month from now, the spiritual race will be sending a batch of goods to Black Devil Peak. Ancient God, Floating Spirit, explained the situation. In the end, Zhao Feng also joined the group. Because the journey was long, the trading groups would all fly over on large warships. Zhao Feng was in no rush to get there. By riding a warship, he could not only travel quickly, but he could also find a lot of time to cultivate and increase his strength. Thus, Zhao Feng volunteered to join this group. Before setting off, Zhao Feng took a stroll through the spiritual race, met with Pan Hao, and brought Zhao Hui with him. When he first brought Zhao Hui to the spiritual race, he immediately arranged for him to be an inner disciple. In this period of time, Zhao Hui's cultivation had increased significantly, and he had also begun to learn the medicine Dao. He didn't have time to take care of Zhao Hui at the time, so he brought him this time so that he could rapidly raise his cultivation. Perhaps he would be of use in the future. 1 month later, Zhao Feng boarded the spiritual race's blue-white warship and set off for the Antian Zone. Chapter 13:18. Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 knew that Zhao Feng was still alive through the pet contract with the little thieving cat. Zhao Feng was sure that if they knew that he was still alive, they would eliminate him. The faction that Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 6 belonged to was not ordinary, so it was extremely easy for them to find information on Zhao Feng. They would even send people to keep an eye on the spiritual race. Once Zhao Feng went out, they would capture or assassinate him. For this reason, Zhao Feng's trip to the Antian Zone to receive the little thieving cat had to be done in secret. Moreover, he had to conceal his identity. Otherwise, he would alert the enemy and expose himself to the enemy. However, not even the eye-shrouding art could conceal the color of Zhao Feng's eyes and hair. There was probably no one else in the entire ancient desolate realm of gods who had this kind of appearance. Since this was the case, Zhao Feng could only think of another method. On the spiritual race warship. Who is this child? A black-robed elder stared at Zhao Hui and asked in dissatisfaction. Elder, this junior is Zhao Hui, an inner disciple of the spiritual race. Zhao Hui gave a genial smile. This was Zhao Feng's method. He was using Zhao Hui as a vessel to carry him around. Zhao Hui was an inner disciple of the spiritual race, so his identity would not arouse suspicion. In addition, Zhao Hui had recently broken into the heavenly divine realm and become a rank 3 true god. This level of cultivation was very easy to overlook, making it easy to investigate. This is an inner disciple that this old man has taken a liking to. I plan to take him as a disciple after a while, so I'm bringing him out to broaden his horizons. Ancient God Floating Spirit followed Zhao Feng's instructions and explained. Ancient God Floating Spirit was once Zhao Yufei's master, so he naturally wouldn't refuse Zhao Feng's request for his help. Ancient God Floating Spirit's words made the others on the warship take a few more glances at Zhao Hui. But no matter how they looked at it, Zhao Hui was an extremely ordinary person without much ability. What good luck, Jean Kuan muttered. An ordinary disciple of the spiritual race who had just become a rank 3 true god had caught the eye of an ancient god elder of the spiritual race. This truly was extremely lucky. The trade trip to the Antian Zone was also a mission. Other than the 3 ancient god elders leading the group, there were also 4 ancient god disciples who had accepted the mission. The 3 elders included Ancient God Floating Spirit, a black-robed ancient god, and a silver-haired old woman. Of the 4, Zhao Feng only recognized one, Jin Wei's older brother, Jin Kuan. This identity is truly a good one. Zhao Feng faintly smiled and ordered Zhao Hui to return to his room. After returning to his room, he activated the protective arrays, and Chun Chun, Wang's spirit true god, Chun spirit, and Xinyuan had entered. After returning to his room, he activated the protective formation, indicating that he had entered a state of cultivation and was not to be disturbed. Of all the clones, Zhao Hui had interacted with Zhao Feng the least, and he had mostly relied on himself in his path of cultivation. This time, Zhao Feng personally guided Zhao Hui in his cultivation and gave him a detailed plan. Zhao Hui's position was that of a physician. As a physician, he didn't need combat strength, but he needed speed and means to escape. Thus, Zhao Feng modified the metal lightning radiance wings technique into a flying escape technique that was more suitable for Zhao Hui. The profoundness that Zhao Hui needed to comprehend was mainly water and wood, followed by wind and space. Zhao Feng was only given the appropriate guidance and cultivation resources. After that, Zhao Feng began to do his own things. The mission to save the little thieving cat was extremely dangerous. The stronger one was, the greater the chance of success. Therefore, Zhao Feng did not waste any time and seized the time to cultivate. After cultivating the Chaos Heaven Void origin technique to the 2nd level, one could cultivate the high-level combat skills that corresponded to Chaos Divine Energy, Chaos Divine Fist, Chaos Divine Shield, and so on. In addition, Zhao Feng was also cultivating space-time ocular techniques and space-time teleportation. 3 months later, the spiritual race warship left the Xiling Zone and entered the Antian Zone. Zhao Feng walked out of the space-time robe dimension and took out the ancient bronze coin. When the ancient bronze coin was pointed in the same direction as the little thieving cat, the starlight on it would shine with an abnormally bright light. It really is in the Antian Zone. Zhao Feng also realized that the ancient bronze coin was pointing in the same direction as the destination of the spiritual race warship, Black Devil Peak. Zhao Feng had originally planned to leave after entering the Antian Zone and search on his own. But since the destination was in the same direction as Black Devil Peak, Zhao Feng decided that he would go with the spiritual race to Black Devil Peak before making his move. Black Devil Peak was one of the 5-star factions of the Antian Zone. It was a place where people gathered, and it would be easier to gather information there. Just like that, Zhao Feng returned to the space-time robe dimension and continued his seclusion. After stabilizing the 2nd level of the Chaos Heaven Void origin technique and familiarizing himself with the combat skills, Zhao Feng rested for a while. Swish! Zhao Feng took out a translucent rhombus-shaped crystal from his interspatial dimension. Within the crystal was a pair of eyes. These eyes were the eyes of space-time. These were the eyes that the little thieving cat had snatched from the octagonal device. Before the little thieving cat was captured, it had given these eyes of space-time to Zhao Feng. My Chaos Heaven Void origin technique primarily cultivates space intent. If I have a clone with the eyes of space-time, it will be of great help to me in comprehending space intent. Zhao Feng was moved. Only by giving this pair of space-time eyes to his next clone would he be able to maximize the value of this pair of eyes. However, he was still in the middle of studying the fourth level of the soul splitting technique, and his fourth clone would need some time to form. One day, the spiritual race warship finally arrived at Black Devil Peak. Only now did Zhao Feng emerge from his seclusion. The mission this time is quite simple. Jean Kuan stood at the front of the warship, a smug smile on his face. Zhao Feng soon learned that the spiritual race warship had encountered 2 more waves of bandits, but the ancient god experts of the spiritual race had easily taken care of them. As for Zhao Feng and Zhao Hui, who had been in seclusion this entire time, they rarely left their rooms, so they had no idea what was going on. Of course, this was also because Zhao Hui was too weak and had been completely ignored by the others. In the past, when the spiritual race's trade convoys went out, they would more or less be intercepted and obstructed by the Blazing Gold race. But this time, the Blazing Gold race didn't do anything. The silver-haired old woman's eyes dimmed. Zhao Hui inwardly chuckled. In the Heaven's Legacy race ruins, 9 ancient gods of the Blazing Gold race, including 1 rank 8 ancient god, had all fallen. This was an enormous blow and loss to a 5-star faction. If the 2 5-star factions were to start fighting now, the Blazing Gold race would undoubtedly lose. They would definitely be using this time to build up their strength and recover. They would have no time to worry about the spiritual race. Zhao Feng turned his eyes to the thick black fog in front of him. 5 steep and savage mountains quickly appeared in the fog, like a black demonic claw trying to crawl out of the wilderness. Black Devil Peak was a 5-star faction of the Antean Zone. It was not controlled by any major race, but rather a sect that accepted any kind of disciple. On the outer peak of Black Devil Peak, a large number of Black Devil Peak disciples had gathered near a fighting stage. At this moment, a golden figure descended. Big Brother Cloudbreaker, true God Cloudbreaker is here. The spectators immediately cried out in alarm. True God Cloudbreaker possessed the Eye of Destruction and was currently an inner peak disciple of Black Devil Peak. It was rumored that his cultivation had already reached the peak of rank 3. Once he reached rank 4, he would become a core disciple of the peak. Big Brother Cloudbreaker, you've come again. An emaciated and tall youth that looked like a skeleton immediately went up to greet him. According to your orders, I've arranged for Outer Peak disciples to challenge him every day. You've come at just the right time. The battle isn't over yet. The skeletal youth had a fawning smile on his face. He was the boss of the Outer Peak disciples, but true God Cloudbreaker was indeed about to enter the ranks of core disciples. Coupled with his Eye of Destruction, his future prospects were limitless. The winner of this battle will be rewarded with a divine blood pill. True God Cloudbreaker looked at the golden figure on the fighting stage, a playful smile on his face. 2 figures fiercely clashed on the fighting stage. Kaboom! One of them, a black-clothed youth, wielded a black metal claw and unleashed a massive shadow of white bones. The other golden figure had no time to react and was pushed back to the edge of the stage, a bloody wound left on its body. Kuan Yin, it's been so long, but you haven't gotten any stronger, the black-clothed youth said with a leisurely smile. Damn! True God Kuan Yin crawled back up. Ignoring the black-clothed youth, he viciously glared at the distant true God Cloudbreaker. He had been treated in such a manner precisely because of this person. Since that's the case, Big Brother Cloudbreaker's divine blood pill is mine. The black-clothed youth gripped the black metal claw as he rapidly approached Kuan Yin and slashed out. Bang! Heavily injured, true god Kuan Yin was unable to put up any resistance and was thrown off the stage. "It's yours." True god Cloudbreaker took out a pill made of blood-red glass and threw it to the black-clothed youth as he prepared to fly away. Cloudbreaker. Kuan Yin clenched his golden fists, his blood-red eyes staring at true god Cloudbreaker. 10 years ago, he had come to the ancient desolate realm of gods and coincidentally entered a 5-star faction. To his surprise, the continent zone's demigod Destruction was also on Black Devil Peak. Destruction had arrived one step earlier than Kuan Yin, and his bloodline was stronger than Kuan Yin's. Black Devil Peak also valued him. Originally, true god Cloudbreaker had only been intentionally suppressing Kuan Yin, not caring about him at all. But after the God Eye Assembly, true god Cloudbreaker's attitude underwent a massive change, and he began to order the Outer Peak disciples to use this method to humiliate Kuan Yin. Unfortunately, Kuan Yin still couldn't leave Black Devil Peak. He knew that if he left, true god Cloudbreaker would definitely kill him. Broom. At this moment, a magnificent warship made of blue and white steel whizzed past. That's a spiritual race warship from the Xiling Zone. Every few decades, Black Devil Peak and the Xiling Zone will visit each other and conduct a trade. A rather senior Outer Peak disciple emotionally said, "A spiritual race warship." True god Cloudbreaker's body trembled as he stared at the warship. Zhao Feng is also in the spiritual race. True god Cloudbreaker was slightly alarmed. He naturally knew of the relationship between Kuan Yin and Zhao Feng. If Zhao Feng discovered that he was treating Kuan Yin like this, he would definitely not be spared. But Zhao Feng had no idea where Kuan Yin was, so he definitely wouldn't have come to Black Devil Peak. However, he did not know that on the blue and white battleship, an ordinary-looking and slightly scholarly young man was coldly looking at him. Chapter 1319. When he saw Kuan Yin, Zhao Feng couldn't help but recall the 30-year agreement he had made with Kuan Yin in the Continent Zone. It's already been 40 years. Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. Although 40 years was so short that it was almost negligible to others, to Zhao Feng, it was an extremely long time. I didn't think that both of them would be here. Zhao Feng found the affairs of the world hard to predict. In the Continent Zone, Kuan Yin and true god Cloudbreaker were members of opposing dynasties. Now that both of them were on Black Devil Peak, it was naturally impossible for them to get along. Moreover, in both strength and status, true god Cloudbreaker far surpassed Kuan Yin. Toying with Kuan Yin to death would be as easy as flipping over his hand. One didn't even need to think to know that Kuan Yin was stifled to death. From start to finish, Kuan Yin and Zhao Feng had only ever made deals. But the two had known each other for many years. Without Kuan Yin, there would be no Zhao Feng. And Zhao Feng had no good impression of true god Cloudbreaker. In fact, he loathed him. Thus, Zhao Feng decided to help him. Broom. The warship of blue and white steel pierced through the thick black fog, quickly reaching the centermost of the 5 Black Mountains. The upper echelon members of Black Devil Peak had already arrived at the summit. Honored guests of the spiritual race, Black Devil Peak has failed to welcome you. A tall, black-robed elder immediately stepped forward, his powerful aura making Zhao Hui feel suffocated. Elder Tao is too serious. The silver-haired old woman of the spiritual race stepped forward. All the members of the spiritual race disembarked from the warship and were welcomed by the upper echelon members of Black Devil Peak into the main peak. This young man is an elder from the Black Devil Peak with black and white patterns on his face that looked like a ghost looked at Zhao Hui with a hint of surprise and disdain. He's a spiritual race disciple that I've taken a fancy to. On this mission, I brought him along to broaden his horizons. Ancient God, Floating Spirit said. Ancient God Floating Spirit was a rank 8 ancient god of the previous generation of the spiritual race. He had come to Black Devil Peak several times, so the elders of this place were extremely familiar with him. Oh, the other people from Black Devil Peak sized up Zhao Feng, but they didn't find anything special about him, so they didn't pay any more attention to him. After all, he was just a rank 3 true god. No matter how special he wasn't worth their attention. Moreover, there was nothing special about Zhao Hui. On the way, Zhao Feng discovered that Black Devil Peak's 3 elders, led by Elder Tao, were very friendly and enthusiastic, while the bronze-masked old man and another elder were very cold towards the spirit race. As the upper echelons of the 2 5-star forces conversed, they arrived at the main hall. This junior will not participate in the matters of the seniors. Before entering the main hall, Zhao Hui took the initiative to take his leave. Zhao Hui's words made the higher-ups of both parties feel that he was very tactful. After bidding farewell to the upper echelons of the 2 factions, Zhao Feng prepared to head to the Black Peak, where Kun Yun was. Not long after he left, Zhao Feng took out an ancient copper coin. Such a powerful starlight. Zhao Hui was taken aback. The light emitted by the bronze coin almost made Zhao Feng think that the little thieving cat was hiding here. Zhao Hui used the copper coin to sense the surroundings before confirming that it wasn't here. But it's not far. A hint of joy appeared on Zhao Hui's face as he put away the copper coin. He couldn't be rash in meeting up with the little thieving cat. At the very least, he needed to get some information before carefully sneaking in. Whoosh! Zhao Hui flew through the black fog and left the main peak. As he was passing through the second mountain, he happened to run into True God Cloudbreaker. At this time, Zhao Feng could not recklessly expose his identity, and True God Cloudbreaker was a disciple of Black Devil Peak. If Zhao Feng wanted to deal with him, he would need to find a reason. Thus, Zhao Feng ignored True God Cloudbreaker and went to find Kun Yun. How come I've never seen you before? Don't you know that only Inner Peak disciples can enter this mountain? True God Cloudbreaker saw that Zhao Hui wasn't even greeting him and immediately called out to him. One had to realize that even the higher-ranked Inner Peak disciples would greet True God Cloudbreaker when they saw him. But this seemingly ordinary and weak youth coldly ignored True God Cloudbreaker. I truly am not an Inner Peak disciple, but so what if I'm here? Zhao Hui grumpily said. He was an esteemed guest of the spiritual race, so what could True God Cloudbreaker do to him? Are you talking to me? True God Cloudbreaker gloomily asked after a moment of shock. Since Zhao Hui wasn't an Inner Peak disciple and was even talking back to him, even if True God Cloudbreaker directly attacked and beat him half dead, it wouldn't matter. Is this how Black Devil Peak treats its guests? Zhao Hui couldn't help but sneer. You're a disciple of the spiritual race? True God Cloudbreaker grimaced, his gloomy expression instantly vanishing. From Zhao Hui's words, he could guess at Zhao Hui's identity. Based on what he knew, the trade between the spiritual race and Black Devil Peak was usually between the upper echelon members. But this time, the spiritual race had brought a rank 3 True God. This meant that Zhao Hui's identity was definitely not ordinary. Moreover, as a 5-star faction, the spiritual race was even stronger than Black Devil Peak. My apologies, this one was blind. I did not expect that good sir was a genius of the spiritual race. True God Cloudbreaker immediately squeezed out a smile. Oomph. Zhao Hui gave a disdainful snort and left. This action caused True God Cloudbreaker's lips to twitch, his mind to burn with rage. But Zhao Hui was a guest from afar. If he angered Zhao Hui, he would be indirectly affecting the relationship between the spiritual race and Black Devil Peak. Why don't I give good sir a tour of this place? True God Cloudbreaker proposed. He was expressing his goodwill as a host, and if he had the chance, he could teach Zhao Hui a lesson. Even if there was some trouble, it wouldn't be too bad. That's fine. Zhao Hui thought for a few moments before agreeing. Black Devil Peak could be considered a Devil Dao faction, and it was a place where fish and dragons mixed together. It was very common for disciples to fight openly and covertly, and they would often challenge each other to duels. Zhao Hui seemed too weak, so it was inevitable that he would run into some trouble. If he were with True God Cloudbreaker, he could avoid all of this, and he could even order this fellow around. With True God Cloudbreaker leading the way, Zhao Hui left the mountain where the Inner Peak disciples resided and went to the Outer Peak. Along the way, many disciples were extremely curious about the weak youth standing next to True God Cloudbreaker. Brother Zhao, This is the place of the Outer Peak disciples. There's nothing to see, True God Cloudbreaker said with a smile. It's fine. When I first arrived, I saw an acquaintance on the Outer Peak, and now I want to go see him. Zhao Hui made no attempt to avoid this topic. Oh, I didn't think that Brother Zhao would know someone on Black Devil Peak. Who might this person be? Perhaps I know him. True God Cloudbreaker said in surprise. In truth, True God Cloudbreaker was wondering how someone of Zhao Hui's status could possibly know a disciple of Black Devil Peak's Outer Peak. Kuan Yun. Zhao Hui faintly smiled as he stared at True God Cloudbreaker. Kuan Yun? True God Cloudbreaker's face froze, and then a strange expression appeared on his face. He truly couldn't understand how Kuan Yun was related to a spiritual race disciple. Kuan Yin had only been in the ancient desolate realm of gods for a very short time, and he had never even been to the Xiling Zone. If it weren't for the fact that Zhao Hui looked extremely unfamiliar, he would have even suspected that Zhao Hui was someone from the Continent Zone. Otherwise, he would have never known Kuan Yin. When he thought about his relationship with Kuan Yin, True God Cloudbreaker really didn't want to go. But his expression just now showed that he knew Kuan Yin. Greetings, True God Cloudbreaker. What business has True God Cloudbreaker honored us with his presence? When True God Cloudbreaker arrived at the Outer Peak, almost all the Outer Peak disciples respectfully greeted him. True God Cloudbreaker enjoyed this treatment, a proud look on his face as he walked through the countless Outer Peak disciples. Brother Zhao, this way. True God Cloudbreaker said with a smile. Who's that next to True God Cloudbreaker? Why haven't I seen him before? From the looks of it, that person's status isn't ordinary at all. Everyone had originally believed that Zhao Feng was someone who was currying favor with True God Cloudbreaker, but True God Cloudbreaker's actions just now had them all slack-jawed. Out of curiosity, many Outer Peak disciples followed the pair. Zhao Hui and True God Cloudbreaker quickly arrived at Kuan Yun's residence. He's here to find Kuan Yun. Kuan Yun was just taught a lesson today. Now that True God Cloudbreaker has personally come, he's going to be in big trouble. Quite a few Outer Peak disciples laughed in schadenfreude. True God Cloudbreaker had always been targeting the Outer Peak disciples, and all the Outer Peak disciples were well aware of this. However, True God Cloudbreaker rarely came to find Kuan Yun. It seemed like there was going to be a good show to watch this time. Gradually, more and more Outer Peak disciples began to gather around. Kuan Yun, who was in his residence, also noticed the abnormality outside. True God Cloudbreaker, just what do you want? Kuan Yun charged out, a venomous look on his face as he glared at True God Cloudbreaker. Because of True God Cloudbreaker, he had to be taught a lesson every few days, and it was a humiliation he had suffered. Kuan Yun had endured this because he believed that there would come a day when he would surpass True God Cloudbreaker and cleanse himself of this humiliation. Brother Zhao, don't take offense. Kuan Yun and I have a small misunderstanding, True God Cloudbreaker carelessly said. With his status in Black Devil Peak, even if Zhao Hui did it because of Kuan Yun, Zhao Hui wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Just what kind of trick is this fellow playing? Kuan Yun became wary. For True God Cloudbreaker to personally visit him meant that nothing good was going to happen. At the same time, Kuan Yun began to size up the youth next to True God Cloudbreaker. From the looks of it, this ordinary youth had about the same status as True God Cloudbreaker. But since this youth was with True God Cloudbreaker, he was definitely not a good person, and Kuan Yun now had another enemy. But to Kuan Yun's surprise, Zhao Hui opened his arms wide and walked toward him. Kuan Yun, long time no see. How did you end up like this? Zhao Hui was just about to embrace Kuan Yun. Kuan Yun couldn't help but take half a step back as he stared in shock at Zhao Hui. All the Outer Peak disciples were dumbfounded by this sight. Hadn't Kuan Yun always been True God Cloudbreaker's target? Why was the person who had come with True God Cloudbreaker so friendly with Kuan Yun? Although they couldn't figure it out, the majority of them believed that True God Cloudbreaker was playing some sort of trick that would make Kuan Yun even more embarrassed and humiliated. Kuan Yun, I haven't seen you in so long that you don't recognize me as a friend anymore." Zhao Hui smiled once more as he embraced Kuan Yin. At the same time, he began to exude pure wood intent. Zhao Hui specialized in the medicine Dao, and with the precious cultivation resources and high-level techniques that Zhao Feng had given him, his medical skills had reached an extremely exquisite level. Kuan Yin was dumbfounded. The unfamiliar man who had come with true God Cloudbreaker was actually calling him brother and treating his injuries? "Kuan Yin, before you left, was the Hall of Gods doing well?" Zhao Hui's voice suddenly rang out in Kuan Yin's mind. Kuan Yin felt like he had been struck by lightning, his body going stiff as he stared in disbelief at Zhao Hui. Chapter 13:20. At this moment, Kuan Yin felt like he had been struck by lightning. His body went stiff as he stared in disbelief at Zhao Hui. Based on Zhao Hui's words, Kuan Yin was sure that this person was from the Great Gan dynasty of the Continent Zone and even had some connection to the Hall of Gods. But Kuan Yin couldn't recall such a person in the Hall of Gods. After all, there were only a few people who had even the slightest hope of coming to the ancient desolate realm of gods. But since this person knew him, Kuan Yin couldn't care less if he had any ill intentions. He was currently in an extremely awkward situation. He had been toyed with by true God Cloudbreaker for the rest of his life. Zhao Hui, who had suddenly appeared, had an extraordinary status and was also extremely friendly to him. Perhaps he could borrow Zhao Hui's hand to help him escape this abyss of misery. This person messaged me about his identity. This means that he doesn't want anyone else to know about this. Kuan Yin's mind word as he looked at true God Cloudbreaker. Although he didn't know what Zhao Hui was up to, Kuan Yin didn't expose the fact that Zhao Hui might be able to help him. "So you still remember to come and see me." After a while, Kuan Yin chuckled. The surrounding Outer Peak disciples stared at this strange scene in bewilderment. They had no idea what was going on. Why was the person who had come with true God Cloudbreaker so friendly to Kuan Yin? How could your injuries be so severe? This is a panacea that I have in my possession. Zhao Hui had already mostly healed Kuan Yin's injuries, but he still spoke in such a manner. With a flip of his palm, Zhao Hui took out 10 some precious herbs and pills. 2 of these truly were used to heal injuries. Even the injuries of rank 4 and rank 5 true gods were extremely effective. Other than that, there were also precious cultivation resources. Am I seeing things? That a red lotus fruit, true dragon leaf, yin yang origin life pill. The treasures that Zhao Hui took out immediately attracted the greedy gazes of the nearby Demon Path disciples. The Outer Peak disciples were at most rank 3 true gods, and each item that Zhao Hui took out was extremely valuable to them. This kid probably has an unusual status in the spiritual race. True God Cloudbreaker was rather excited as he looked at these treasures. But he had no good impression of Zhao Hui, especially since Zhao Hui knew Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin was dumbfounded. This stranger who had suddenly appeared had not only addressed him as a brother, but had also treated his injuries and given him so many precious treasures. Kuan Yin wondered if he was dreaming. How could there be so many meat pies falling from the sky? Although he didn't understand, it would be a waste not to take it. Kuan Yin accepted all of them without hesitation. With these resources, it won't take long for me to become a rank 3 true god. Kuan Yin was extremely excited. Because of Zhao Feng's help in the Continent Zone, he was able to enter the ancient desolate realm of gods when he was only a demigod. Moreover, he was a blood drop realm cultivator, and during the 30 years he had been guarding the city, he had been constantly consolidating his foundation. Thus, in the 5th year of his arrival in the ancient desolate realm of gods, he broke through to the heavenly divine realm and directly became a rank 2 heavenly divine. However, through a series of coincidental fortuitous events, he managed to reach the 5-star faction Black Devil Peak, but his cultivation had stagnated. This was all because of true God Cloudbreaker. The Outer Peak disciples could only watch as Kuan Yin accepted the treasures. Although they were extremely excited, they did not dare to make a move. Brother Zhao has countless treasures. I trust that your strength is also extraordinary. True God Cloudbreaker suddenly spoke in a sinister tone. The other Outer Peak disciples couldn't help but look at True God Cloudbreaker, not knowing what he meant. It's just SOSO. Zhao Hui simply replied. Brother Zhao is too modest. The spiritual race is a 5-star faction even stronger than Black Devil Peak. The majority of Black Devil Peak's rank 3 true gods probably aren't a match for you. True God Cloudbreaker praised Zhao Hui. It's someone from the spiritual race. He must have come on that warship. At this moment, Zhao Hui's identity became completely clear. Everyone finally understood that Zhao Hui and True God Cloudbreaker were not in cahoots. But they had never imagined that the Kuan Yin they had been bullying would know someone from the spiritual race, and that this person's status was probably not ordinary. Spiritual race. Kuan Yin muttered. These 2 words could only make him think of Zhao Yufei. But even if it was Zhao Yufei, it was impossible for her to know his exact whereabouts. This one is True God Heifeng. I would like to request the guidance of a genius of the spiritual race. At that instant, a young man in the shape of a skeleton took the initiative to step forward. As True God Cloudbreaker's follower, True God Heifeng had an extremely good understanding of his thoughts. These words instantly piqued the interest of everyone present. It was obvious that True God Cloudbreaker was also somewhat hostile toward Zhao Hui because of Kuan Yin. True God Heifeng was a rank 3 true god and the #1 disciple of the Outer Peak. Brother, I'm not a match for him. Why don't you fight in my place? Zhao Feng suddenly said to Kuan Yin. As soon as this was said, everyone present was stunned. One had to realize that True God Heifeng was a rank 3 true god, while Kuan Yin was only a rank 2 true god. But now a rank 3 true god like Zhao Feng won a rank 2 true god to fight in his place. If it weren't for the fact that True God Cloudbreaker was clearly hostile toward Zhao Hui, the Outer Peak disciples would have believed that Zhao Hui was working with True God Cloudbreaker to intentionally mess with Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin's mind went blank. Zhao Hui, who had been so friendly to him just a moment ago, was now pushing him into a sea of flames. Just what was going on here? If Kuan Yin fights, Big Brother Heifeng doesn't need to fight. Let me do it. A black-clothed youth in the crowd gave a wicked smile. Kuan Yin's expression darkened as he stared at this person. This black-clothed youth was the peak rank 2 true god who had taught him a lesson today. Brother Zhao, if you don't want to give me face, you can have your friend fight. True God Cloudbreaker's words were laced with threat. If Zhao Hui went up, he would most likely lose to True God Heifeng. If he didn't go up, then Kuan Yin would have to. In this case, the relationship between the 2 of them would naturally be broken. I'm a doctor. I'm not skilled in battle. Zhao Hui's declaration of his identity left everyone rather surprised. Not even True God Cloudbreaker had expected Zhao Feng to be a doctor. If this was the case, then his words just now were rather inappropriate. Challenging a doctor was a little embarrassing, and besides, Zhao Feng was a guest from afar. But now that he had said it, he couldn't take it back. Since that's the case, Kuan Yin, let's play some more. At this moment, the black-clothed youth once more stepped onto the stage and looked at Kuan Yin with a mocking expression. You! Kuan Yin's face instantly went red. He had just fought with this black-clothed youth and was ruthlessly defeated, leaving him heavily injured. Even though he had mostly recovered from his injuries, he was still no match for this black-clothed youth. Kuan Yin, when I came here, I happened to see you fighting and realized that you don't have a divine weapon of your own. How about I lend you a weapon so that you can fight him again? Zhao Hui said with a smile. The black-clothed youth's expression did not change. Even if Kuan Yin had an extra divine weapon, he would still be no match for him. Kuan Yin also remained silent, viciously glaring at Zhao Hui, not knowing what he was thinking. But a moment later, Zhao Hui flipped his palm, and 3 dazzling divine weapons appeared. These 3 treasures were a massive black hammer, a golden dragon armor, and a cloak made of red clouds. The moment these 3 divine weapons appeared, they exuded an astonishing aura that attracted everyone's attention. These are 3 average-quality divine weapons, The black-clothed youth on the stage swallowed in shock. He actually took out 3 average-quality divine weapons at once. The rest of the people also sighed with envy. Then I'll fight you again. After a few moments of shock, Kuan Yin became ecstatic. Average-quality divine weapons were for rank 4 to rank 6 true gods, and they were divine weapons that he normally wouldn't even see. If he had 3 average-quality divine weapons, the outcome might not have been certain. Swish! Kuan Yin took the 3 average-quality divine weapons and jumped onto the stage. Slightly activating the divine weapons, Kuan Yin immediately felt an invincible and valiant strength imbue his body with a dreadful pressure that crushed toward the black-clothed youth. These 3 divine weapons are all top-class, average-quality divine weapons. Only a rank 5 true god or higher can completely control them. True God Cloudbreaker's expression darkened. With these 3 powerful average-quality divine weapons for offense, defense, and support, Kuan Yin was almost invincible among rank 2 true gods and could even challenge rank 3 true gods. Bang! Just as expected, the two exchanged less than 5 blows before the black-clothed youth was sent flying by Kuan Yin's hammer. He vomited several mouthfuls of blood before crawling back up. Kuan Yin heartily laughed as he walked off the stage. He had never felt so refreshed after coming to Black Devil Peak. He had obtained many resources, used average-quality divine weapons, dealt a heavy blow to his foe. Kuan Yin, these 3 divine weapons suit you so well. I'll give them to you, Zhao Hui said with a smile. Kuan Yin, who had just gotten off the stage, almost stumbled and fell. These were 3 average-quality divine weapons, and Zhao Hui was giving them away, just like that. Although he was extremely reluctant to part with these 3 divine weapons, they were far too valuable. However, under Zhao Feng's insistence, Kuan Yin ultimately accepted these 3 divine weapons. The surrounding Outer Peak disciples all stared at this sight like idiots. With these cultivation resources and 3 average-quality divine weapons, Kuan Yin would soon be invincible in the Outer Peak and enter the Inner Peak. But Kuan Yin's face immediately turned dejected. An ordinary man's wealth was his ruin. Moreover, he already had many enemies. Once Zhao Hui left, True God Cloudbreaker would definitely think of a way to target him and take back all these things. But at this moment, a voice rang out in Kuan Yin's mind. Once the spiritual race people leave, you can go with them to the spiritual race. Brother Zhao, let me take you on a stroll. True God Cloudbreaker wickedly smiled. With Zhao Hui here, Kuan Yin would be fine, but once Zhao Feng left, the same could not be said for him. These cultivation resources and divine weapons would all be his. Okay, Zhao Hui nodded and prepared to leave. Good sir, who are you? Why did you save me? Kuan Yin was extremely excited, but he quickly calmed down and mentally messaged. He didn't believe that someone who had nothing to do with him would do such a thing for him. Little Kuan Yin, your memory is truly terrible. You even forgot about me. With these words, Zhao Hui left with True God Cloudbreaker. But Kuan Yin's soul was stunned, and he stared in a daze as Zhao Hui left. In his life, there was only one person who called him Little Kuan Yin, Zhao Feng, who had helped him revive from a single drop of blood. Chapter 1321. After leaving the Outer Peak, Zhao Feng arrived at the free trade zone of Black Devil Peak. The size of a 5-star faction's trading point was almost equivalent to the territory of a 4-star faction. It was like a small country. This trading area was a special trading area for Black Devil Peak disciples. Due to the difference between the Inner Peak and the Outer Peak, there were a lot of people here. I'm very familiar with this place. If Brother Zhao needs anything, just let me know. True God Cloudbreaker said with a smile. Zhao Fu had returned to gather some information, but with True God Cloudbreaker with him, it was rather inconvenient for him to do so. Therefore, Zhao Hui just casually looked around and familiarized himself with the place. He would come back when he had the time. However, as he strolled along, Zhao Feng was surprised to discover that the trading area of Black Devil Peak was often filled with gadgets and instruments that contained the technology of the Heavenly Secrets Group. Maybe I can find something here. Zhao Hui made a mental note of it. The little thieving cat's hiding place wasn't too far from Black Devil Peak. Black Devil Peak, as one of the 5-star factions of the Antian Zone, was a faction of all sorts of people. It was certain that it would be able to find out information about the mysterious faction that ancient god Profound Devil's group belonged to. Brother Poyen, I'll go to the main peak first to see how the discussion between the higher-ups of our two forces is going. Zhao Feng took the initiative to resign and went to the main peak of Black Devil Peak. This kid is just a rank 3 true god. In the spiritual race, he's at most an inner disciple, but he can freely enter and exit the main peak of Black Devil Peak. True God Cloudbreaker cursed after Zhao Feng left. The main peak of Black Devil Peak was a place that only core disciples could enter, and he did not have the qualifications to do so. However, Zhao Hui, an inner disciple of the spirit race, was able to enter the core area of Black Devil Peak. This made him extremely dissatisfied and jealous. After leaving this place, Zhao Hui headed straight for the main peak of Black Devil Peak. However, before he could even get close to the main hall, Zhao Hui saw the upper echelons of the two forces flying out. The juniors of my Black Devil Peak have long heard that the Spirit Clan's genius is extremely strong. This time, let's let him exchange pointers with the disciples of the Spirit Clan. In the upper echelon of Black Devil Peak, the demon-faced old man said with a smile, "Of course not. In terms of battle prowess alone, the disciples of the Spirit Clan cannot compare to the disciples of the Black Devil Peak." The silver-haired old lady of the spirit race said calmly, "Had it not been for the repeated requests of the Black Devil Peak's upper echelons, she would not have agreed to this spar." This was because the 4 ancient gods that the spiritual race had sent this time were not the strongest ancient god disciples of the spiritual race. The ancient god disciples that came from the spiritual race only happened to accept this mission. Everyone from Black Devil Peak, there's no need to be too serious. Ancient god Floating Spirit immediately said, making the spiritual race disciples lower their voices. It seems like the two forces aren't very friendly. Zhao Hui thought to himself. His arrival had long ago attracted the attention of many ancient god experts. But the ancient god upper echelon members didn't care about a trifling rank 3 true god. Zhao Hui silently followed behind the group to see what was going on. "Zhao Feng, if the spirit race is no match for us, will you step in?" Ancient god Floating Spirit messaged. Zhao Feng's strength was obvious to all during the bet between the two clans. This time, Black Devil Peak should have a slight advantage in the competition between the two major forces. But if Black Devil Peak did not understand reason and send out the powerful geniuses of its faction to viciously humiliate the spiritual race disciples, ancient god Floating Spirit hoped that Zhao Feng could intervene and salvage the situation. Isn't the spirit race on good terms with Black Devil Peak? How could something like this happen? Zhao Feng countered with a question. No faction is absolutely united. A faction like Black Devil Peak is even more prominent. Ancient god Floating Spirit did not avoid the topic and slowly explained to Zhao Feng. It turned out that the internal strife of Black Devil Peak was also extremely intense. At present, Black Devil Peak had 2 strongest factions, and only one of them was on good terms with the spiritual race. Elder Tao was the representative of this faction. The representative of the other faction was the demon-masked elder. The two factions were fighting in an attempt to wrest control over Black Devil Peak. Elder Tao's faction used trade with the spiritual race to obtain the resources it needed to increase its overall strength. In response, the other faction would definitely think of ways to obstruct them and destroy the relationship between the two sides, but they would not go too far. If they offended the spiritual race too deeply, the effects would only worsen. This also means that the Demon-Masked Elders faction wants to use this method to humiliate the spiritual race, so that the spiritual race will gradually lose any good impression of Black Devil Peak. Zhao Feng quickly understood the reason for this matter. However, He had no intention of revealing himself. This was a 5-star faction of the Antian Zone. Once Zhao Feng's identity was exposed, the faction behind ancient god Profound Devil, who was in the Antian Zone, would instantly find out. When the time came, not only would his mission to rescue the little thieving cat fail, Zhao Feng himself might also be in danger. The upper echelon members of the two factions quickly arrived at a small dimension. This dimension was filled with massive and savage mountains. This is the place. There's no fighting zone or array to protect us, so we can fight to our heart's content. The demon-masked elder heartily laughed. Which disciple of Black Devil Peak will be fighting? The silver-haired old lady asked. She had heard of all the famous geniuses of Black Devil Peak. At this moment, a spatial ripple appeared next to them. A moment later, a devilishly handsome youth with starry lightning in his eyes appeared. It's him. Zhao Hui's expression froze. This youth was none other than the young Master Hai, who had a gambling match with Zhao Feng at the God Eye Assembly. Zhao Feng knew that if true God Cloudbreaker was here, then young Master Hai would also be here. He just hadn't expected for the two of them to meet. Paying respects to senior of the spiritual race, young Master Hai smiled and bowed. So it's young Master Hai of Black Devil Peak with a starry eye? The silver-haired old lady had heard a little about him. Of course, this wasn't because young Master Hai was very strong, but because of his special eye. It was extremely powerful, comparable to the descendants of the 8 great god eyes. In short, young Master Hai wasn't the best ancient god disciple of Black Devil Peak, but he wasn't bad either. Jin Kuan, you go. The silver-haired old lady picked him out. Of the 4 ancient god disciples of the spiritual race, only Jin Kuan had the spiritual race bloodline. The spiritual race bloodline could effectively suppress the power of young Master Hai's eye bloodline. Yes, Jin Kuan immediately stepped forward. He had heard of young Master Hai before, but his strength was probably on par with his own. If he defeated young Master Hai this time, he would be winning glory for the spiritual race. Once he returned to the spiritual race, he would definitely be rewarded with contribution points. Please enlighten me. Young Master Hai wickedly smiled as he flew away. Jin Kuan immediately charged out. The two didn't fly very far before they attacked. Star Flash. Young Master Hai immediately used the secret flying skill he was so proud of. His body was shrouded in a hazy starry mist as he rapidly flew through the air. What incredible speed, but I don't need to chase after him. Jin Kuan stood where he was, his body glowing with a jade-white light. It was clear that he cultivated a high-level body refining technique. The spiritual race bloodline excelled in defense, and Jin Kuan's body refining technique made it impossible for an ordinary ancient god to injure him. Thus, he boldly stood where he was and waited for young Master Hai to attack. Heavenly Star Explosion. Young Master Hai activated his star eye and shot out a dazzling beam of starlight. At the same time, a crescent bow appeared in his hand. This bow was of high quality, and it matched well with his star power Upanishad, which allowed him to use the strongest power. Boom, bang, crash. The world rumbled as mountains crumbled and the earth cracked. Although young Master Hai specializes in speed and fierce attacks, Jin Kuan's god's spiritual jade body seems to have advanced. Together with the spiritual race bloodline, his defense is impregnable. The black-clothed ancient god of the spiritual race had a look of praise on his face. Jin Kuan was much stronger than they had expected. Young Master Hai of the Black Devil Peak is also a great talent. He can use the star power to this level. Although Jin Kuan's strength far surpassed expectations, young Master Hai was not to be underestimated. The odds of victory in this match were 50-50. Winning was naturally good, but losing wouldn't be too miserable. Not all. The spiritual race bloodline is truly worthy of being one of the top 20 ancient bloodlines. It was able to suppress young Master Hai's star to such a level. Although the demon-masked elder said this, he was not the slightest bit worried. Young Master Hai is even stronger than before. Zhao Hui's eyes dimmed. Zhao Feng had once fought with young Master Hai. Back then, Zhao Feng had used a space-time eye bloodline technique to defeat young Master Hai. The current young Master Hai was even stronger than before, and he seemed to be at ease in this battle. He was not using his full strength, as if he was looking for an opportunity. As expected, it didn't take long before Jin Kuan began to feel the strain. Star Intent was an intent that combined offense, explosive power, and speed. It was much stronger than ordinary intents. The upper echelon members of the spiritual race gradually grimaced. Earth-shaking Nova! At a certain moment, young Master Hai suddenly used a powerful Star Eye technique. Young Master Hai was like an enormous star on the verge of destruction as he shot toward Jin Kuan with such speed that no one could react to it. Boom! Bang! An astonishing amount of star energy slammed into the defensive divine power in front of Jin Kuan. What power! Jin Kuan sensed danger and immediately used a secret spiritual race bloodline art to reduce his injuries. Helloos! A voice suddenly came from behind Jin Kuan. Young Master Hai fused his Star Eye technique with the Crescent Moon Bow and fired an arrow of dazzling meteor light that pierced through all defenses and struck Jin Kuan. Boom! Bang! Jin Kuan's body smashed into the ground, creating a massive crater. It seems like it really was as ancient god floating spirits said. The spiritual race only randomly selected a few disciples this time. The demon-masked elder was a little smug. The upper echelon members of the spiritual race had grim expressions. Jin Kuan had been defeated too quickly, while young Master Hai was barely injured. This was a completely one-sided battle. In addition, if the one defeated wasn't a disciple with a spiritual race bloodline, it would have been a little easier to explain. Zhao Feng, ancient god floating spirit, couldn't help but look at Zhao Hui, hoping that he would show himself. Zhao Feng had a high-level eye bloodline, so defeating young Master Hai shouldn't be too difficult. Could it be that the youth favored by ancient god floating spirit is the true genius of the spiritual race? The demon-masked elder wickedly chuckled as he looked at Zhao Hui. Why don't we send a rank 3 disciple of my Black Devil Peak to exchange a few pointers with this young genius of the spiritual race? The demon-masked elder asked, a hint of mockery in his voice. The upper echelon members of the spiritual race did not reply. Zhao Hui was just an obscure inner disciple. If Black Devil Peak sent a rank 3 true god, it would definitely be a top-class rank 3 expert. Zhao Hui's loss was certain. To everyone's surprise, Zhao Hui, who had always been a man of few words, spoke up. Then this junior will display his incompetence. Zhao Hui faintly smiled as he accepted the challenge. He was just worrying over how to refuse ancient god floating spirit's request. After all, the other party had treated him rather well. But this demon-masked elder wanted to send a rank 3 true god to fight him. This way, Zhao Feng wouldn't need to refuse ancient god floating spirit's request and could still fight while concealing his identity. Chapter 1322. This ancient god floating spirit's expression froze. Zhao Hui hadn't agreed before, but now that the elder said he would send a rank 3 true god to fight, he agreed. In other words, Zhao Feng was going to use this avatar to fight for the spirit race. However, ancient god floating spirit was confident in Zhao Feng himself, not this ordinary rank 3 clone. Kid, what did you say? The other disciples of the spirit race let out a low shout. In their opinion, Zhao Hui had no chance of winning. After all, they were all ancient God Realm experts. Based on their observations, they could tell that Zhao Hui wasn't very strong. The elders of the spirit tribe were also very displeased. This inner disciple was too full of himself. Good, the disciples of the spirit clan are indeed brave. The bronze-masked old man laughed and took out a communication token. The requirement for this match was a rank 3 true god, and he already had a candidate in mind. He had already given the spiritual race face by not sending out their strongest rank 7 ancient gods for this battle of rank 7 ancient gods. In his view, A battle between rank 3 true gods wouldn't have much of an effect, so it didn't really matter if he sent out a top-class disciple to defeat Zhao Hui. Humph. Jean Kuan lowered his head and looked at Zhao Feng, snorting disdainfully. Black Devil Peak was obviously prepared and would not allow the spirit race to win, but this brat actually believed himself to be infallible. Not long after, a golden figure appeared in this independent space. "Elder, what are your orders?" True God Cloudbreaker had an excited expression. The ancient god upper echelon of Black Devil Peak had called him over for an important matter. If he could complete this task well, his future on Black Devil Peak was certain to soar. "Go spar with the disciples of the Spirit Clan and hone your strength," the bronze-masked old man calmly said. Even so, True God Destruction had the eyes of destruction and was definitely a top expert among rank 3 true gods. The spirit race's Zhao Hui was no match for him. "Yes, may I know who from the Spirit Clan will be sparring with me?" True God Cloudbreaker confidently smiled. "It's me." Zhao Hui stepped forward. "It's Brother Zhao." True God Cloudbreaker was startled at first, but then he gave a faint smile. The eyes of the two leaders flickered. These two people seemed to know each other. "I happened to meet Brother Zhao just now, so I brought him around the Black Devil Peak." True God Cloudbreaker explained, and then he asked, "But, Brother Zhao, aren't you a doctor?" Previously, he had threatened Zhao Hui with Kuan Yun, but Zhao Hui had refused to help. Why would he represent the spirit tribe now? Could it be that his identity as a doctor was fake? "Doctor!" Hearing this, both parties were stunned. The elders and disciples of the spirit race almost cursed it out loud. "You're just a doctor, yet you dare to fight. You're really courting death. I have some experience in combat. Defeating you shouldn't be a problem." Zhao Hui's expression remained unchanged as he calmly replied. The people from Black Devil Peak almost burst out laughing when they heard this. The people of Black Devil Peak all knew of True God Cloudbreaker's strength, but for a doctor of the same rank to say that he could defeat True God Cloudbreaker was a massive joke. The Spirit Race clansmen were also angered by Zhao Hui's shamelessness. However, Zhao Hui had already accepted the challenge, so they couldn't stop him. "Please." Zhao Feng circulated his wind profound energy and leapt out. But to everyone's surprise, True God Cloudbreaker stopped as if he had some misgivings. "True God Cloudbreaker, what's wrong?" The demon-faced elder grunted. For a mighty eye of destruction descendant to cower in front of a doctor was truly shameful. "Elder, this is just a friendly match. Can we restrict the use of divine weapons and supplementary tools?" True God Cloudbreaker somewhat embarrassedly asked, but he had no choice. He had personally seen Zhao Hui take out 3 average-quality divine weapons and give them to Kuan Yun. Who knew if Zhao Hui had even more formidable divine weapons or tools on him? The demon-faced elder's expression darkened. True God Cloudbreaker's words had left him extremely displeased. But when he thought about how True God Cloudbreaker had interacted with Zhao Hui before, he knew that there had to be a special reason for such a request. "I feel that not using external power will allow me to display my own strength. What do the spiritual race members think?" The demon-faced elder squeezed out a smile. The upper echelon members of the spiritual race found this request rather strange, but they did not refuse. "Okay, Brother Zhao, let me experience your strength." True God Cloudbreaker immediately charged forward in shock. He had never encountered a match among rank 3 true gods. His eye of destruction had always been extremely powerful, and not using divine weapons gave him an even greater advantage. "Bzzz." True God Cloudbreaker's eyes shone with a dazzling golden light, exuding an intent that could destroy all. "Eye of destruction." The members of the spiritual race cried out in alarm. They were even more displeased. They hadn't expected that Black Devil Peak would even send out a God-Eye descendant for this match. Moreover, the Eye of Destruction was extremely destructive, so offensive divine weapons were dispensable to it. "Destruction light." True God Cloudbreaker bellowed, his eyes erupting with a dazzling golden pillar of light. Illish. A pair of light blue wind wings appeared on Zhao Hui's back, and in the ripples of space intent, his body became ethereal. This kid's movement technique is extremely profound. The black-robed spiritual race elder called out in surprise. Although the Eye of Destruction was extremely powerful, Zhao Hui's movement technique was extremely profound and fast, allowing him to dodge all the attacks. All you know how to do is run. How can you defeat your opponent? Jin Kuan coldly snorted. Although he didn't like Zhao Hui, his comment was also true. The majority of doctors were not skilled in fighting, but rather in running away. But this was a match, and victory was determined by defeating one's opponent. How could Zhao Feng, who was not skilled in offense, defeat True God Cloudbreaker? Damn, this kid's movement technique is very profound, but he really is a doctor. True God Cloudbreaker coldly snorted, and then he wickedly smiled. He had nothing to fear against someone who only knew how to run. He only needed to constantly attack and force his opponent to reveal an opening so that he could instantly defeat them. Destruction Flurry. True God Cloudbreaker's eyes exuded golden rays of light that pierced through the world. Swoosh swoosh. Zhao Hui urged the wind and space power Upanishad to move agilely between heaven and earth. He had barely dodged all the gold light beams. This movement technique and reaction speed left both ancient gods flabbergasted. What they didn't know was that Zhao Feng was controlling Zhao Hui at this moment, and he was also transferring a portion of his powerful psychic energy to him. Zhao Feng and his clone were one soul, and Zhao Feng was hiding in his interspatial dimension, so the amount of energy he was transferring was very small and obscure. Not even the top-class ancient gods present would be able to sense it. Zhao Hui's senses had been greatly enhanced, so he was naturally able to easily dodge these attacks. It's my turn to attack. Zhao Hui smiled. You? True God Cloudbreaker couldn't help but chuckle. In his view, Zhao Hui was just a doctor who specialized in escaping techniques, so his fighting abilities and attacks were definitely not very strong. He's going to fight back. The black-robed elder of the spirit race was startled. He believed that Zhao Feng would keep dodging and running until he finally conceded. At least he wouldn't lose too badly. He hadn't expected for Zhao Feng to know how to fight back, but he didn't know how strong Zhao Hui's attacks were. Bzzz. At this moment, Zhao Hui's right eye suddenly turned extremely gloomy, like a nightfall from the underworld. A faint black coil could be seen spinning around it. The Eye of Samsara. True God Cloudbreaker called out in alarm. He had never imagined that Zhao Hui was also a descendant of one of the 8 great god eyes. Moreover, the Eye of Samsara was known as the undying eye of the 8 great god eyes, making it the most difficult to deal with. The other members of the two sides were also stunned. This kid's concealment techniques are so profound that even I didn't notice. The silver-haired old woman gave Zhao Hui a profound look. She had no idea that Zhao Feng had used the eye-sealing art and eye-shrouding art to conceal his eye of Samsara bloodline. Unless the silver-haired old woman was a descendant of one of the 8 great god eyes, she would find it very difficult to notice. His clone actually has the eye of Samsara. Ancient god-floating spirit was inwardly shocked. It was no wonder Zhao Feng had left behind such a weak clone. But it seems like there's only one eye of Samsara. The demon-masked elder's eyes dimmed after his shock. Only one eye of Samsara. The rest of the people were confused too. Everyone knew that the eye of Samsara was divided into the Samsara of life and the Samsara of death. The Samsara of death had an undying body and a Samsara immortal body. The Samsara of life was even more unique. It could be said to be useless, but there were times when it could be incredibly useful. It was obvious that Zhao Hui's eye was the Samsara of life, and the Samsara of life was completely useless in this battle. Everyone was rather speechless. They had originally been thinking about who would win this battle, but now they had been played by Zhao Hui. The eye of Samsara of life was completely useless in this battle. You plan on using this eye to attack me? True God Cloudbreaker breathed a sigh of relief and gave a wicked laugh. You guessed right. Zhao Hui's right eye began to revolve, and chaotic energy began to gather. Although the Eye of Samsara of Life wasn't very useful in battle, it was still a special eye bloodline. An eye bloodline technique launched from it would definitely be stronger than an ordinary eye bloodline. At this moment, Zhao Feng was secretly sending in more eye bloodline energy, further increasing the power of this eye bloodline technique. Oh no! True God Cloudbreaker sensed a dangerous energy. He had never imagined that a doctor would be able to use such a powerful eye bloodline technique. Earth-shaking Nova. The eye bloodline technique that Zhao Hui had been building up in his left eye was suddenly unleashed. Zhao Hui himself possessed wind, water, wood, and space intense, so his earth-shaking Nova was somewhat powerful. The attack of the earth-shaking Nova could pierce through both the physical and the soul, and the Eye of Destruction was not skilled in defense. True God Cloudbreaker couldn't dodge, and he was struck by a chaotic wave of intent energy. In the midst of a devastating shockwave, he was defeated. Earth-shaking Nova. The spectating young Master Hai was stunned. Although Zhao Hui hadn't used the true earth-shaking Nova, this was the technique that made young Master Hai famous, and he was extremely familiar with it. Spiritual race, Zhao Feng. Young Master Hai's expression darkened. He had never been to the spiritual race. He had only lost this eye bloodline technique to Zhao Feng during the God Eye Assembly. He won. The members of the spiritual race didn't dare to believe it. The situation had changed far too quickly. Zhao Hui had used the samsara of life to defeat True God Cloudbreaker with a single eye bloodline technique. The eye of the samsara of life could only amplify one's power to a certain extent. The decisive factor was still Zhao Hui's profound and formidable eye bloodline technique. The spiritual race truly is a place of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Black Devil Peak's Elder Tao chuckled. He naturally hoped that the spiritual race would win this match, so that the relationship between the two factions would become too tense. But the demon-faced elder had an extremely nasty grimace as he stared at True God Cloudbreaker and Zhao Hui as if he wanted to eat them alive. At this moment, a message rang out in the demon-faced elder's mind. Elder, the eye bloodline technique that Zhao Hui used just now was my earth-shaking Nova, but the only member of the spiritual race that has this eye bloodline technique is probably Zhao Feng. Zhao Hui and Zhao Feng probably have an extremely close relationship. The sender was none other than young Master Hai. The Heavenly Demon Hall is currently searching for clues about Zhao Feng. Go and tell him about this. The demon-faced elder gloomily stared at Zhao Hui. Chapter 1323. The upper echelon members of the spiritual race repeatedly praised Zhao Feng's performance. He was a doctor, had the eye of the samsara of life, was skilled in escaping, and had an extremely high level of attainment in eye bloodline techniques. If they hadn't heard that ancient god floating spirit had taken a liking to Zhao Hui, they might have taken him as a disciple. The other spiritual race disciples were rather envious, especially Jean Kuan, who was extremely depressed. Even though they were ancient god disciples, they were still inferior to a rank 3 true god. Moreover, Zhao Hui truly was very powerful. In the future, he might become as dazzling as Zhao Feng. The geniuses of the spiritual race truly are powerful. Today's sparring will end here. Elder Tao loudly said. He was truly afraid that the demon-faced elder would insist on continuing the sparring. Following that, under Black Devil Peak's arrangements, the spirit race's people settled in an excellent place that was rich in heaven-earth yuan qi. The spiritual race's primary mission this time was to trade with Black Devil Peak, which would take at least 1 or 2 months. On the edge of Black Devil Peak's territory was a forbidden land called the Arctic Abyss. This place was plagued by icy storms year-round and was inhabited by powerful ice-type Yao gods. If an ordinary rank 2 or 3 true god ventured deep into this place, they would definitely die. Moreover, the Arctic Abyss was bottomless, and the deeper one went, the colder it got. Not even a rank 4 true god would be able to endure it. But in one of the walls of the Arctic abyss, there was another world. It's someone from Black Devil Peak. A tall figure with black golden bull horns on his head took out a communication token. News of Zhao Feng. After reading the message, the Golden Horn Man immediately used a secret art to communicate with the others. Soon, a black figure arrived at the scene. Ancient God Bull Devil, what news is it? The newcomer was none other than Ancient God Profound Devil. The spiritual race has a rank 3 true god who is suspected to have an extremely close relationship with Zhao Feng in the trade with Black Devil Peak. Ancient God Bull Devil truthfully replied. Ancient God Profound Devil fell in a thought. They had not reported the specifics of the mission, especially regarding Zhao Feng, to their superiors. Instead, they relied on their authority to gather intelligence on Zhao Feng. This was because they still harbored some selfish motives, wanting to obtain the many treasures in Zhao Feng's possession, such as the supreme quality divine artifact, the space-time robe. Let them send someone to keep an eye on him. If there's a chance, make a move. Ancient God Profound Devil thought for a few moments before speaking. The rank 3 true god and the upper echelon members of the spiritual race were together, so they could not recklessly attack. Ancient God Profound Devil. If the secrets on Zhao Feng can attract the attention of the higher-ups, then even with the protection of an ancient god of the spiritual race, we can still capture that rank 3 true god. Ancient God Bull Devil gave Ancient God Profound Devil a profound look. Ancient God Profound Devil's group hadn't accomplished much on their last mission, but they had been extremely lucky to capture a Heaven's Legacy cat and were instead rewarded. However, Ancient God Bull Devil discovered that the eye bloodlines of Ancient God Profound Devil and the others had become abnormally weak. They spent many contribution points to buy resources to recover their eye bloodlines. Not long after they returned, they asked the intelligence organization to carefully investigate Zhao Feng. Thus, Ancient God Bull Devil guessed that there was more to this than met the eye. Yes, I know. Ancient God Profound Devil replied, and then left. If they succeeded in capturing Zhao Hui, they would deal with this matter themselves. Otherwise, he would report the matter of Zhao Feng to his superiors. Black Devil Peak. Zhao Feng and Zhao Hui both entered the space-time robe to cultivate. Year Ring Wood. Zhao Feng took out a round piece of ancient wood. He had obtained this from the ruins of the Heaven's Legacy race. Year Ring Wood was a precious cultivation resource that contained time and intent. It was also an excellent material for crafting space-time divine artifacts. Within the space-time robe, 10 days was equivalent to 1 day in the outside world. Zhao Feng quickly used up all the energy in the Year Ring Wood. I've reached level 4 in time intent. A look of joy appeared on Zhao Feng's face. Time intent was the most difficult of all the intents that Zhao Feng controlled. Once I reach level 5 in time intent, I can even change the time energy of this dimension, giving me even more time to cultivate. Right now, 10 days in the space-time robe was equivalent to 1 day in the outside world. When the time came, perhaps 20 days would be equivalent to 1 day in the outside world. This would all depend on how well Zhao Feng used time intent. But time intent was too difficult to comprehend, and Zhao Feng had long ago reached level 6 in his other intents. Only the time profound meaning was hard to improve, even with the best cultivation treasures. It's time to go out and scout for information. Zhao Feng softly said. Zhao Hui left the space-time road dimension. Black Devil Peak's trading district was a place for Black Devil Peak disciples to trade, and information was a popular trade. But the moment he arrived, Zhao Feng sensed something strange. Someone's following me. Although Zhao Feng was hiding in his interspatial dimension, he could use Zhao Hui's soul to sense his surroundings. The moment he noticed that someone was following him, Zhao Feng focused his senses and grasped the cultivation and appearance of the two. Why would Black Devil Peak send people to keep an eye on Zhao Hui? Zhao Feng was extremely confused. Was it because Zhao Hui had defeated True God Cloudbreaker in their previous spar? No matter how stupid Black Devil Peak was, they wouldn't target Zhao Hui just because of that. In addition, Zhao Hui was in Black Devil Peak's territory, so they wouldn't dare to do anything to him. Otherwise, Black Devil Peak would have to take responsibility. However, being stared at by someone made him feel a little uncomfortable. In the next few days, the moment Zhao Hui left the main peak, it wouldn't be long before he was followed by these two. These two didn't dare to go too far and only lingered around the main peak, lest the upper echelon of the spiritual race discover them. These two are only targeting Zhao Hui. Let's see what their goal is. Zhao Feng quietly said to himself. After a few days of searching, Zhao Feng realized that he was the only one being followed. The other members of the spiritual race were completely fine. He very much wanted to know why Zhao Hui was being followed. One day, Zhao Hui left Black Devil Peak's territory of his own accord and began to fly toward a sparsely populated area. He didn't get very far before the two following him began to rapidly close the distance. "Who's there?" Zhao Hui suddenly turned his head and bellowed. Two black figures flew toward Zhao Hui at high speed, accompanied by the sound of breaking air. Both of them were rank 4 true gods, and they were both very powerful. It seemed like they had come prepared. Whoosh, whoosh. The two each took out an array flag, which immediately began to erupt with pitch-black demonic flames that completely sealed off the surrounding area for tens of thousands of li this way. Even if you're skilled at escaping, you won't be able to get away. One of the tall men said in a low voice, "Big brother, hurry and go before anything unexpected happens." The other man, who was slightly shorter, immediately shouted and directly attacked. "Just to capture me?" A hint of doubt appeared in Zhao Hui's mind. If these two had come to kill him, Zhao Feng would have immediately captured them and searched their souls. But these two were actually here to capture Zhao Hui. "You're quite bold to dare attack a spiritual race disciple," Zhao Hui bellowed as he used a secret flight skill to dodge the short man's attack. "I'm ancient god, floating spirit's disciple. If he finds out, you're doomed." Zhao Hui incessantly tried to provoke the pair, but they gave him no reply. "Wind, lightning, eye flame." Zhao Hui activated his Eye of Samsara and used an eye bloodline technique to attack one of them. But this person was already prepared. He took out an average quality defensive divine artifact and blocked the eye bloodline technique. Zhao Hui quickly showed signs of running out of divine power. Demon Destruction Hand. The tall man fired off a pitch-black and sinister pillar of light at Zhao Hui. At the same time, the other person swiftly approached Zhao Hui. With a wave of his hand, he took out a golden thorn whip and bound it around Zhao Hui. This thorn whip was stained with poison that could paralyze Zhao Hui's body and extract his divine power. Just like that, Zhao Hui was captured by the pair. "Let's go." After capturing Zhao Hui, the pair did not return to Black Devil Peak, but instead flew off in another direction. Take me to the person behind the curtains." Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng softly chuckled. 3 days later, 2 more people appeared in front of the pair. These two were both ancient gods, and one of them was young Master Hai. "Young Master Hai, why do you want to capture me?" Zhao Hui roared. You think too highly of yourself. Even if you defeated true God Cloudbreaker, you're still nothing to me." Young Master Hai snorted as he put Zhao Hui back into his interspatial dimension and left with the other ancient god. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng fell into deep thought. Just now, he had almost revealed himself and planned to capture these 2 ancient gods. But young Master Hai's words had stopped him. It seemed like the person who wanted to deal with Zhao Hui was someone else, and this person was definitely not simple. Young Master Hai had actually run errands for him. Could it be? Zhao Feng seemed to think of something, and his eyes flashed. Swish! An ancient bronze coin appeared in his hand, glimmering with starlight. "It's this direction." Zhao Feng's expression flickered in shock. At this moment, young Master Hai's group was flying in the same direction as the bronze coin. "It's impossible for my identity to be exposed." Zhao Feng's mind was as clear as a mirror. If his true identity had been exposed, young Master Hai would not have said those words. This also meant that the other party's target was Zhao Hui. But this was perfect. Zhao Hui was only a rank 3 true god, so his guard should be very low, making it extremely easy for Zhao Feng to sneak in. Although I still haven't gathered enough information, I can only adapt to the situation. Zhao Feng split off a part of his mind to control Zhao Hui's soul so that he could observe the outside world. The other part of his mind was focused on cultivating and increasing his strength so that he could deal with the unknown dangers that awaited him. Half a year passed within the space-time robe. The Chaos Heaven Void origin technique had made some progress, and Zhao Feng's cultivation had reached the peak of rank 7. He had also gained a thorough understanding of the combat skills of the second level of the Chaos Heaven Void origin technique. In the outside world, young Master Hai and Zhao Hui arrived in the vicinity of the Arctic Abyss. After entering a secret area, the concealment array in front of them suddenly withdrew, revealing a teleportation array. After activating the teleportation array and seeing Zhao Hui's body vanish, young Master Hai and Zhao Hui cautiously left. Zhao Feng, on the other hand, arrived in a very dark dimension. There were several figures in this dimension, and one of them was standing in front of Zhao Hui. Ancient God, profound devil. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng called out in alarm. On the other hand, Zhao Hui had a look of terror and helplessness on his face. Chapter 1324. I was the one who had someone capture him. Ancient God, profound devil called out, and then he took Zhao Hui and left. After leaving this gloomy dimension, Ancient God, profound devil appeared in a wide and circular metal passage. This passage extended in all directions, and some of the important entrances and exits required identification. After a little while, Ancient God, profound devil entered a secret chamber and threw Zhao Hui out. Don't tell me that you don't know Zhao Feng. Ancient God, profound devil's eyes were tinged with anger, and the pressure of an ancient god began to press forward. Zhao Hui was only a rank 3 true god, and under this pressure, he felt like he was suffocating and unable to move. I know. Zhao Hui's voice trembled, his face stricken with fear and panic. Ancient God, profound devil's eyes flashed with joy. Then obediently tell me everything. Ancient God, profound devil's energy surged. A savage black ghost head slowly condensed in his hand. This ghost head seemed to have a mind of its own, and once it formed, it charged at Zhao Hui's head. This was a unique memory-taking method. Once the black ghost head entered Zhao Hui's body, it would devour his soul and obtain everything. Ancient God, profound devil smiled as he stared at this low-level true god that was still at his mercy. If you want to blame someone, blame your relationship with Zhao Feng. Ancient God, profound devil coldly snorted. He wanted nothing more than to capture Zhao Feng and take everything he had so that he could make his life a living hell. The savage black ghost head was just about to enter Zhao Hui's head. You want to see me that badly? At this moment, a third voice resounded through the chamber. This voice caused Ancient God, profound devil's body to tremble, and emotions of familiarity, loathing, and hatred instantly surged through his body. Zhao Feng, Ancient God, profound devil, suddenly recalled, and his face paled. He was extremely anxious to capture Zhao Feng, but he had never imagined that Zhao Feng would appear here. Whoosh! Zhao Feng suddenly appeared at Zhao Hui's side, and then he charged at Ancient God, profound devil. As he passed by the black ghost head, Zhao Feng's enormous energy immediately pulverized it. Mixed Origin Divine Fist. Zhao Feng circulated his Chaos Origin Divine power like a bolt of lightning and unleashed the accompanying combat skill of the Chaos Heaven Void origin technique. Boom! A ball of dim, chaotic, flowing light pressed forward like a giant mountain. Completely caught off guard, Ancient God, profound devil was caught off guard and struck. Puff! He spat out a mouthful of blood as his body was sent flying by the attack of the Dark Mountain. The Chaos Heaven Void essence technique had broken through to the second level, and Zhao Feng's cultivation base had also reached the peak of the 7th tier. His strength had risen by a level compared to before. Ancient God, profound devil, who had been punched, could do nothing but retreat. But before ancient God, profound devil could land, Zhao Feng was already at his side. With a wave of his silver robe, ancient God, profound devil, and Zhao Feng vanished. Within the space-time robe dimension, ancient God, profound devil vomited several mouthfuls of blood before finally stabilizing himself. Zhao Feng, how did you get here? Your strength, your strength. Ancient God, profound devil was far too shocked and wanted to say many things. He had never imagined that Zhao Feng would risk his life and infiltrate their territory. Although he was sure that Zhao Feng was doomed in this place, he still had to worry about his own life. Zhao Feng had gotten even stronger since their last meeting. This is the space-time robe dimension. You can't escape. Submit to me, Zhao Feng indifferently said. At the same time, Zhao Wang and the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon arrived in the space-time robe dimension. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon's body blazed with pitch-black dragon flames, its bloodline energy fully unleashed, exuding an energy of calamity that could destroy all. Zhao Wang was only a peak rank 5, but he was an Eye of Death descendant. What attracted ancient God, profound devil's attention the most was the pitch-black clawed staff in Zhao Hui's hand. It exuded a sinister and terrifying energy that was even more dangerous than the Black Destruction Serpent Dragons. A supreme quality death divine artifact of the Destruction Dragon race. Ancient God, profound devil instantly despaired. Just Zhao Feng alone was not someone he could fight against. And there was also an ancient god of the Destruction Dragon race, and another person who wielded a supreme quality death divine artifact. Moreover, ancient god profound devil knew that Zhao Feng still had other trump cards. Ancient god profound devil had never imagined that he would die because he captured a rank 3 true god. You'll also die. In this desperate situation, ancient god profound devil actually gave a wicked smile. Buzz. BZZ. An enormous amount of energy surged and contracted in his body, exuding a dreadful energy. You want to self-detonate? Zhao Feng seemed to have expected this, and his expression did not change much. His body suddenly vanished as he approached ancient god profound devil. What are you doing? Ancient god profound devil was stunned. He truly was planning to self-detonate. He knew that Zhao Feng was too fast and would definitely be able to escape the range of the explosion. Thus, the true reason for his self-detonation was not to kill Zhao Feng, but to let the Heavenly Demon Hall discover that he was dead. When the time came, the Heavenly Demon Hall would definitely conduct a strict investigation, and Zhao Feng would find it impossible to escape. But to his surprise, Zhao Feng didn't flee when he tried to self-detonate and instead approached him. You want to stop me from self-detonating? Laughable. Ancient god, profound devil disdainfully laughed. Not even a rank 8 true god could completely suppress him. Thus, it was simply impossible for Zhao Feng to stop him from self-detonating. Moreover, if Zhao Feng got too close, his self-detonation would instantly kill him. Thus, ancient god, profound devil laughed at Zhao Feng's stupidity. Whoosh! Zhao Feng instantly appeared at ancient god profound devil's side, his dreamy silver eyes turning to him. This is... A moment later, ancient god profound devil sensed a strange and ancient spatial energy that wanted to teleport him to another place. He was just preparing to resist when a space-time energy suddenly restrained his body. At the same time, Zhao Feng's left eye unleashed a powerful illusion Dao energy that affected his mind. Moreover, ancient god profound devil soul intent was already weaker than Zhao Feng's, and his eye of myriad forms was even less powerful than Zhao Feng's quasi-god spiritual eye. Swish! Ancient god profound devil was pulled into the ancient dream realm by Zhao Feng. The ancient dream realm, the core area of the blood flame Qilin race. 3 rank 8 ancient gods and the blood flame Qilin race patriarch were seated in 4 corners. Suddenly, Ancient God, profound devil's body appeared in the center of the four. In the next moment, the expressions of the four ancient God experts changed, and they all erupted with a boundless energy that pressed toward the center. The moment ancient God, profound devil appeared, he didn't even have time to do anything before this invincible energy took control of him, rendering him incapable of doing anything. The explosive energy brewing in his body also stopped flowing and slowly faded away. What is this place? Ancient God, profound devil barely managed to squeeze out these words. This was obviously another space, and there were several peerless experts hidden in this space. A moment later, Zhao Feng appeared. "Your Excellency," the members of the Blood Flame Qilin race called out. "Dark Heart Seal." Zhao Feng said nothing. A dreamy silver seal formed in his left eye, and then he branded it into the depths of ancient God, profound devil's soul. Suppressed by four ancient God experts, ancient God, profound devil was powerless to resist and was easily branded. Only then did the members of the Blood Flame Qilin race release him. Zhao Feng was well aware of the dangers of infiltrating this place, so he had long ago made preparations. The mysterious and secretive faction behind ancient God, profound devil, would definitely be extremely cautious. All its members would probably have soul jades under their watch. The soul jades contained a sliver of the owner's soul. Once the owner died, the soul jade would shatter. Thus, it was best if Zhao Feng didn't kill anyone in this place, or else his identity would be exposed. "Master, what are your orders?" The extremely weak ancient God, profound devil kneeled in front of Zhao Feng. "Tell me the current situation of the Heaven's Legacy Cat and all the information on your faction." Zhao Feng was rather excited. He had always been curious about ancient God, profound devil's faction. A group of God-Eye descendants was actually able to operate the machines of the Heaven's Legacy race. After infiltrating this place, Zhao Feng realized that the faction behind ancient God, profound devil was even more mysterious and powerful than he had imagined. It actually controlled a large number of the Heaven's Legacy race's technology. If it weren't for the fact that most of the people here were God-Eye descendants, Zhao Feng would have even suspected that this was a faction of the Heaven's Legacy race. "Master, this subordinate will find it very difficult." Ancient God, profound devil appeared to be struggling. Zhao Feng's expression froze. After being branded with the Dark Heart Seal, even ancient God, profound devil's thoughts were subservient to him. But now, ancient God, profound devil was resisting his request. "Master, I sign a contract. Once I reveal any information regarding the Heavenly Demon Hall, my soul will immediately shatter." Ancient God, profound devil truthfully replied. Zhao Feng immediately understood. Only death could force the target of the Dark Heart Seal to resist his orders. The moment ancient God, profound devil revealed any information, he would probably die. This would be of no use to Zhao Feng. This matter allowed Zhao Feng to once more understand just how cautious the Heavenly Demon Hall was. He needed to be extremely cautious in his next actions. After successfully planting the Dark Heart Seal, Zhao Feng, an ancient God, profound devil, returned to the outside world. Although ancient God, profound devil couldn't reveal any information, he knew where the little thieving cat was and could lead the way for Zhao Feng. Moreover, there were quite a few places along the way that required identity verification. But first, ancient God, profound devil needed to recover, or else he would easily be exposed. The two of them remained in the secret chamber for the time being and began to cultivate. But ancient God, profound devil, didn't cultivate for long before he opened his eyes and took out a round metal token. The token was flashing with a weak red light. "What's going on?" Zhao Feng immediately asked. Someone triggered the alarm system. The area within 100,000 li of the Heavenly Demon Hall has been completely locked down. Ancient God, profound devil truthfully replied. "I was discovered?" Zhao Feng was stunned. "No, it should be someone else." Ancient God, profound devil's expression darkened. Ancient God, profound devil's words allowed Zhao Feng to relax a little. However, Someone else had triggered the alarm system, putting the entire place on high alert. This was also bad news for Zhao Feng. But there was also a good side to this matter. The Heavenly Demon Hall's attention was currently focused on the person who had triggered the alarm system. This was the perfect opportunity for Zhao Feng to act. We have to move out quickly. Zhao Feng warned as he personally helped Ancient God Profound Devil recover from his injuries. Buzz. BZZ. Suddenly, the secret chamber began to flicker with an extremely weak light. Someone's coming. Ancient God Profound Devil immediately said. Zhao Feng couldn't help but use his left eye's see-through ability to peer through the metal walls. Two figures were standing at the entrance of a certain passage. They were currently activating the array around Ancient God Profound Devil's residence. Chapter 1325. Zhao Feng activated his left eye's see-through ability, allowing him to peer through the metal walls. Two figures were standing at the entrance of a certain passage. They were in the middle of activating the array around Ancient God Profound Devil's residence. Zhao Feng recognized both of them. They were Ancient God Profound Devil's two companions in the Heaven's Legacy Race ruins. One of them was the captain of Zhao Feng's team, Ancient God Black Extreme. When I learned of Zhao Hui's whereabouts, I told them about it. Ancient God Profound Devil explained. It seemed like Ancient God Black Extreme and his companion had learned that Ancient God Profound Devil had successfully captured Zhao Hui and were afraid that Ancient God Profound Devil would take all the benefits for himself, so they came to take a look. I can't reveal any flaws or alert the enemy. Zhao Feng fell into thought. Suddenly, a sharp light flashed through his eyes and a smile appeared on his lips. Why aren't you coming out? Ancient God Black Extreme's expression was gloomy. Ancient God Profound Devil isn't thinking of leaving us to work with others to deal with Zhao Feng and divide the spoils. The thin eye of space-time descendant softly muttered. After all, the secrets on Zhao Feng were no trifling matter and would definitely attract the attention of the upper echelon members. Ancient God Profound Devil might use this chance to climb up to the top-class experts of his faction. But at this moment, the array in front of the pair vanished, and Ancient God Profound Devil's figure slowly emerged. Come in. After saying this, Ancient God Profound Devil turned around. Ancient God Black Extreme and his companion immediately followed. Soon, the three of them arrived at an isolated secret room. Inside the secret room, there was another refined young man. His body was restrained by a powerful divine power, and he was unable to move. This is the person who has a close relationship with Zhao Feng? Ancient God Black Extreme's cold and sinister eyes stared at Zhao Hui, the sinister and dreadful eyes of death. You got some clues, right? The other person impatiently asked. He's just a rank 3 true god. Does he still have the strength to fight back? Ancient God Profound Devil faintly smiled. Hurry up and tell me what valuable information you have. Ancient God Black Extreme was rather expectant. See for yourselves. Ancient God Profound Devil calmly said as he waved his hand through the air. Following that, a colorful light screen appeared in front of them. The two of them knew that Ancient God Profound Devil wanted to display the images in Zhao Hui's memories. The image depicted a fairyland carved out of crystal. It was the territory of the spirit tribe. In next to no time, a figure with a head of dreamy silver hair that was like flowing water appeared, and it fluttered without restraint. Something's wrong. The skinny man's expression changed slightly. He possessed the eye of space-time, and just now, he sensed spatial ripples coming from the screen of light. What happened? Ancient God Black Extreme was confused. At this moment, Zhao Feng suddenly looked at the two of them, his left eye exuding a powerful illusion Dao energy. Gradually, Zhao Feng's body became more and more corporeal while the screen of light vanished. Forbidden Illusion Lost World. Zhao Feng's illusion technique enveloped both of them at the same time. At this moment, the two God-eye descendants felt like they had entered a dreamy world of fog. Myriad forms, myriad palm. Standing behind ancient god black extreme. Ancient god profound devil suddenly activated his eye of myriad forms and fired off two enormous palms of rainbow-colored light. Under the influence of the illusion Tao energy, ancient god black extremes pair had no time to react. Boom! Bang! Ancient god black extreme and ancient god profound devil were struck and sent flying forward. Zhao Feng smiled as he watched the two of them approach. With a wave of the space-time robe, he took them into it. Let's go. Zhao Feng and ancient god profound devil entered the space-time robe dimension. Gaze of the god eye. Once inside, Zhao Feng used his god's spiritual eye to use the gaze of the god eye on the thin man to take control of his soul. After all, this person was an eye of space-time descendant, so he was less affected by this dimension. What's going on, my soul? The skinny man did his best to struggle, but he discovered that his soul had almost no ability to resist Zhao Feng's left eye. As for ancient god black extreme, he was being restrained by ancient god profound devil, the black destruction serpent dragon, and Zhao Hui. The black destruction serpent dragon bloodline had an absolute suppression on him, and Zhao Hui's staff of death curse had rendered ancient god black extreme's eye of death useless. This is the staff of death curse. No wonder you were able to absorb so much death liquid last time. Ancient god black extreme was stunned. He finally understood the problem that had been plaguing him all this time. The staff of death curse was rumored to have been created by a powerful eye of death descendant in ancient times. Moreover, this eye of death descendant had coincidentally obtained the legacy of the cursed Tao of the ancient shaman race, the second-ranked race of the 10,000 ancient races. It was for this reason that the staff of death curse had an eye similar to the eye of death that could complement the eye of death and also contain curse energy. Don't! The thin man's soul struggled, but it was still uncontrollably drifting toward Zhao Feng's left eye. Collect! Zhao Feng's gaze of the god. I sucked the thin man's soul into the god eye dimension. After the evolution of the god's spiritual eye, his left eye had gotten even stronger. Almost no one on the same level could resist the power of the gaze of the god eye. It's your turn. Zhao Feng smiled as he walked toward ancient god black extreme. Without much resistance, ancient god black extreme was quickly sucked into the god eye dimension. After a period of torture, Zhao Feng succeeded in planting the dark heart seal in their souls. If they're insiders, it'll be even easier to get into the heavenly demon hall. Zhao Feng had a delighted look on his face. He hadn't expected that after enslaving ancient god profound devil, two more people would come to his door. Even though these three could not tell Zhao Feng any information regarding the heavenly demon hall, but Zhao Feng could use the vision of these three to get a rough understanding of the heavenly demon hall situation. Master, it won't be easy to save the Heaven's Legacy cat. Ancient God Black Extreme was worried for Zhao Feng. There's an expert presiding over the Heaven's Legacy cat. This was all the thin man could say. Based on the words of these two, Zhao Feng could roughly guess that the Heaven's Legacy cat's location was heavily guarded, with a supreme expert presiding over it. Trying to save the little thieving cat with just Zhao Feng's strength was like throwing an egg against a rock. Nothing is absolute, and there's no wall in this world that doesn't have a crack. Even the most secure place has a hole to crawl through. Zhao Feng's expression was indifferent. Moreover, it seemed like someone else had come to make trouble. But now was not the time to save the little thieving cat. He still needed to make some preparations. Let's go. Zhao Feng called out as he used space intent to conceal himself in Ancient God Profound Devil's body. Master, what should we do? Ancient God Profound Devil whispered. Even though he had seen a few of Zhao Feng's trump cards, he didn't believe that Zhao Feng had the ability to save the little thieving cat. Go find your other three companions first. Zhao Feng's slightly delighted voice rang out. Yes, although they didn't know what their master's intentions were, the three of them didn't dare to disobey. After leaving their residence, they saw several figures rapidly flying out of a distant passage. It seems like the other intruders are extremely powerful. Zhao Feng could observe everything through the eyes of his three servants. Whoosh! Whoosh! Ancient god, profound devil's group of 3 flew through this strangely constructed base that was like a maze. It didn't take long before ancient god, profound devil arrived outside a solitary room. It's me, ancient god, profound devil. The array outside the room was quickly withdrawn, and a muscular man walked out. What's the matter? All 3 of us are here, so we naturally have important matters to discuss with you. Ancient god, profound devil appeared to be hiding some major secret. The muscular man didn't think too much about it and entered with the 3 of them. Suddenly, his 3 companions launched a sneak attack on him. At the same time, Zhao Feng, who was hiding on ancient god, profound devil's body, appeared. The 4 of them working together rendered the rank 7 ancient god powerless to resist. After a while, ancient god, profound devil's group of 3 left the room and headed for their next destination. It's me, ancient god, profound devil. Ancient god, profound devil's group went to the slender woman's residence, but even after a long time, there was no response. It seems like the Eye of Destiny sensed something and ran off ahead of time. Zhao Feng didn't care about this. At this moment, 5 of the 6 people in the Heaven's Legacy Race ruins had become Zhao Feng's servants. This way, I have another trump card. Hidden on ancient god, profound devil's body. Zhao Feng was secretly delighted. Zhao Feng couldn't obtain the God Eye fusion art from them, but he could use them to use the God Eye fusion art. Zhao Feng was well aware of the power of the God Eye fusion art. If he unleashed all his power at once, even a rank 9 ancient god would suffer a calamity if they weren't careful. And if he used it as a long-lasting secret art, he could contend against several rank 8 ancient gods. Next, to where the little thieving cat is, Zhao Feng ordered. Deep in the center of the Heavenly Demon Hall was a massive secret hall. This was the forbidden ground of the Heavenly Demon Hall. Not even ancient god, profound devil's group could get close without a special reason. There were countless spirit formation barriers of various sizes in the secret hall. Each and every one of those spirit formation barriers contained strange mechanical devices, research results, and experimental subjects. In the very back of the secret hall was a crystal box, within which flowed a liquid of gold and silver. A silver-gray cat floated in the liquid. At this moment, the silver runes and symbols on the little thieving cat's body seemed to come to life, constantly twisting and extending. In front of the little thieving cat was an operator controlling a massive device connected to the little thieving cat. Behind this operator stood an elder with a sinister face, his entire body covered in gray scales. If this Heaven's Legacy cat can transform into its complete form, the gray-scaled elder stared at the little thieving cat, his eyes brimming with excitement. Whoosh! At this moment, a black figure darted in. Your Excellency, the experts of the space-time sacred land are approaching the Heavenly Demon Hall base. The black figure immediately reported. It seems like the person who went on the mission last time left behind some clues. The gray-scaled elder sighed, a cold and harsh light flashing through his eyes. Who is it? The gray-scaled elder asked once more. The space-time god's disciple, ancient god Scarlet Firmament. It's actually Scarlet Firmament. I heard that he's already a half-step god lord. Let me go test him out. The gray-scaled elder had a relaxed expression. Chapter 13:26. It's actually Crimson Firmament. I heard that he's already a half-step god lord. Let me go test him out. The gray-scaled elder had a carefree and relaxed expression. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure disappeared. His Excellency has left. There should be no problems here, right? A gray-haired elder monitoring the entire Heavenly Demon Hall was rather worried. The other operators in the secret hall were also rather worried. Their own fighting power was extremely low, and they didn't have much ability to protect themselves. And this time, it was someone from the space-time sacred land who had come. In the ancient, desolate realm of gods, the sacred land was the largest ruling faction. With me here, what do you have to fear? At this moment, a cold and sinister voice came from the darkness. A man with a ramrod-straight body and dark and turbid eyes that made him seem like a wraith drifted out. Ancient God Nether Spring. Everyone couldn't help but shiver. With Ancient God Nether Spring here, there's naturally no problem. The gray-haired elder faintly smiled. At this moment, a red dot of light suddenly flashed on the massive screen in front of him. There's an intruder. The gray-haired elder immediately bellowed. Their target is us. The people around him looked over and said, they're just sending themselves to death. Ancient God, Nether Spring, sneered as his eyes began to turn. A gloomy mist of spring water gushed out. A normal person would feel like they had entered the yellow springs of the underworld if they looked at it. Whoosh, whoosh. A man and a woman suddenly emerged from the gloomy mist. The man was dark and tall, exuding a sinister ghost Tao energy, while the woman was dignified and holy, like an untainted fairy. The moment the two appeared, they shot through the air. Is it that the devil-saint god duo whose fame has shaken the Antean zone? I heard that the two of them have reached peak rank 8. I didn't think that they'd already become Lord Nether Spring's samsara immortal bodies. The corridors of the heavenly demon hall were intertwined and complicated. If Ancient God Profound Devil's group hadn't been leading the way, Zhao Feng would have needed some time to find the little thieving cat's location. Whoosh, whoosh. One or two figures would occasionally emerge from the various corridors. As they traveled, they encountered fewer and fewer people along the way. At this moment, a short-haired middle-aged man flew over from the distance. He was a rank 7 ancient god. Ancient God Profound Devil, where are you going? This short-haired middle-aged man had some friendship with Ancient God Profound Devil. Capture him, Zhao Feng ordered. He needed to search this person's soul to understand the situation. Moreover, if everyone suddenly attacked, they would definitely be able to subdue the other party in an instant. Ancient God Profound Devil didn't answer the middle-aged man's question and immediately attacked. At the same time, the other 4 God-Eye descendants activated their eye bloodlines. What are you doing? The middle-aged man's face was filled with terror. At the same time, in the nearby void, whoosh, a silver eye the size of a head suddenly appeared. Soul Prison. The dreamy silver eye embedded in the air suddenly unleashed an eye bloodline technique. In the next moment, the middle-aged man's soul was bound by countless soul chains. At the same time, sharp black iron spikes pierced his soul. The soul prison caused the middle-aged man's soul to fall into an illusion of torture. A breath in the outside world was equivalent to several months in the illusion. At the same time, Ancient God Profound Devil's attacks landed on the middle-aged man. Thump! The middle-aged man suffered great damage in an instant and fell to the ground. Whoosh! A whirlpool of eye intent engulfed the middle-aged man's body. A moment later, he was sucked into Zhao Feng's God-Eye dimension. The entire capture was carried out extremely quickly, lasting only a few seconds. But at this moment, whoosh! A spatial ripple swept past. Then, a black figure appeared. What are you doing? The thin and pitch-black man, who seemed to be one with his black robe, stared at Ancient God Profound Devil's group and roared. Although he didn't see anything, he could sense the ripples of eye intent in this place. It was clear that a battle was taking place. But when he arrived, one of the auras suddenly vanished. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng was taken aback. Because he was in the space-time robe dimension, the abilities of Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye were greatly hindered. Moreover, the materials used to construct this place were extremely unique, greatly limiting Zhao Feng's perception. As a result, he failed to notice this powerful eye of space-time descendant. Ancient God Azura Gate, a member of the Heavenly Demon Hall, tried to steal the research results of the Heavenly Demon Hall during the chaos. We discovered him, so we worked together to eliminate him. Ancient God Profound Devil explained. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng could clearly sense through the Dark Heart Seal that Ancient God Azura Gate was a rank 8 Ancient God. Moreover, he was a rank 8 Ancient God with an extremely stable foundation. Release him. I'll investigate everything before deciding what to do. Ancient God Azura Gate's face was cold and dignified. These words immediately caused Ancient God Profound Devil's Group to put on awkward and conflicted expressions. Ancient God Azura Gate, in truth, we had a personal grudge with that member and couldn't hold back just now, so Ancient God Profound Devil's expression suddenly flickered. Ancient God Azura Gate, if you keep this matter a secret for us, the 5 of us are willing to give you a large number of contribution points. Ancient God Black Extreme had a pleading look on his face. Okay, Ancient God Azura Gate coldly snorted. Ancient God Profound Devil's Group of 6 had obtained an astonishing amount of contribution points from capturing the Heaven's Legacy Cat. Even Ancient God Azura Gate was extremely tempted. In the Heavenly Demon Hall, contribution points could be exchanged for all sorts of divine artifacts, such as powerful automatons, special tools, eye bloodline enhancement medicines, and so on. Ancient God Azura Gate, let's go somewhere else to talk. Ancient God Profound Devil messaged. At this moment, a figure passed through the passage in the distance. This truly isn't a good place to talk. Ancient God Azura Gate nodded. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng's expression flickered. This person trusts you so much. Isn't he afraid that you'll play some sort of trick? Zhao Feng straightforwardly asked. One had to realize that Ancient God Profound Devil was a peak rank 7, and with the help of his 4 other bloodline descendants, heavily injuring or even killing a rank 8 Ancient God was no problem at all. Master, you're underestimating the high-level combatants of the Heavenly Demon Hall too much. Ancient God Profound Devil couldn't say anything, so he could only say this. But it wasn't hard for Zhao Feng to guess. Although the Heavenly Demon Hall wasn't very large, it controlled the arts and legacies of the Heaven's Legacy race. It had all sorts of powerful automatons, and rare secret arts and cultivation methods. These things could probably all be exchanged for with contribution points. Ancient God Azura Gate was undoubtedly one of the more experienced ancient gods, possessing incredible strength in all aspects. In addition, although Ancient God Profound Devil's Group could use the God Eye Fusion art, this secret art required time. Given Ancient God Azura Gate's understanding of this secret art, he would never give Ancient God Profound Devil the time to use it. For this reason, Ancient God Azura Gate wasn't worried that Ancient God Profound Devil would play any tricks. But in the end, Ancient God Azura Gate had overlooked the factor of Zhao Feng. It didn't take long for the group to enter a room. The moment they entered this place, everyone felt a strong gravitational force suppressing them. It was obvious that this was a special training room, and this gravitational pressure could even be adjusted. Murdering a member of the Heavenly Demon Hall is a major crime. Ancient God Azura Gate leisurely strolled in, a wicked smile on his face. The 5 people before him all had many contribution points on them, so he naturally wanted to extort more out of them. I have something here that Ancient God Azura Gate might be interested in. Ancient God Profound Devil squinted his eyes and smiled. Take a look. Ancient God Azura Gate grimaced. In truth, he was more interested in the contribution points. In a Heavenly Demon Hall, with contribution points, one could obtain almost anything. But Ancient God Profound Devil also knew this, so he definitely wouldn't take out anything ordinary. Ancient God Profound Devil faintly smiled as he activated his interspatial dimension and waved his hand. Swish! A silver robe suddenly appeared, covered in silver runes and inscriptions that seemed to contain the great Tao of the world. A single glance at it would allow one to gain some enlightenment. The space-time robe. Ancient God Azura Gate's eyes went wide as his body trembled. It was actually a supreme quality space-time divine artifact that could support, defend, and flee the space-time robe. But the space-time robe was so precious that Ancient God Profound Devil's Group would never give it to him. Moreover, he couldn't instantly kill these 5 people. What do you want? Ancient God Azura Gate asked. As long as he could obtain the space-time robe, he was willing to do anything. We want your life. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in the space-time robe floating in the air. Tribulation lightning eye flame. Zhao Feng had already gathered many tribulation lightning symbols in the space-time robe dimension, and the moment he appeared, he unleashed them. You! Ancient God Azura Gate was alarmed. Although he still didn't understand what was going on, the danger he sensed made him instantly react. Uish! Ancient God Azura Gate transformed into a dark streak of light and dodged to the side. He didn't get very far before Ancient God Azura Gate was forced to reveal himself and howl in pain. Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique was so precise that it was almost instantaneous. Even though Ancient God Azura Gate reacted extremely quickly, his soul still suffered 80% of the tribulation lightning eye flame's power. At the same time, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 5 used eye bloodline techniques and summoned their automatons to fiercely attack Ancient God Azura Gate. Zhao Feng had the advantage in numbers, and he wouldn't give Ancient God Azura Gate any time to catch his breath. If Ancient God Azura Gate chose to send a message first, he would be struck by all 5 powerful eye bloodline techniques, and he would probably die. Space Origin Divine Shield. Ancient God Azura Gate forcefully stabilized the injuries to his soul and activated his eye of space-time, creating a white barrier of light. Boom! Bang! Crash! Everyone's eye bloodline techniques were weakened by this barrier. But because Ancient God Profound Devil had the advantage in numbers, Ancient God Azura Gate was the first to succumb, and he hastily used his defensive secret skill. However, Ancient God Azura Gate didn't have time to do anything, because the 5 automatons were already attacking him. Come out! Ancient God Azura Gate also summoned an automaton, one with peak rank 8 strength. After doing all this, Ancient God Azura Gate sent his mind into his interspatial dimension to send a message. But at this moment, a dreadful ripple of energy appeared in the distance. Earth-shaking Nova. Zhao Feng activated his eye bloodline technique once more. Earth-shaking Nova relied on all kinds of powerful forces colliding with each other to produce a great power. Now that he had cultivated the Chaos Heaven Void origin technique to the 2nd level, Zhao Feng's various intents had all increased by 1 level. The power of this eye bloodline technique increased the most. Boom! Bang! In a flash, a dark and chaotic energy exploded on Ancient God Azura Gate's body. The attack of the earth-shaking Nova pierced through the body and soul, temporarily interrupting Ancient God Azura Gate's message. At the same time, Zhao Feng blinked to Ancient God Azura Gate's side. Swish! With a wave of his sleeve, Zhao Feng took Ancient God Azura Gate into his interspatial dimension. Damn! Once Ancient God Azura Gate recovered, he immediately understood what was going on. Die! Zhao Feng and Ancient God Profound Devil's group appeared in this place. Zhao Feng was no longer worried about Ancient God Azura Gate sending a message. The space-time robe was a supreme quality divine artifact, and with Zhao Feng's control, it was completely isolated from the outside world. Unless Zhao Feng allowed it, Ancient God Azura Gate would not be able to send a message out of this dimension. Chapter 1327. Chaos Origin Divine Fist. Zhao Feng circulated his Chaos Origin Divine Power and punched with both fists. Several massive fist images imbued with the characteristics of space intent pierced through space and bombarded Ancient God Azura Gate. Swish! Swish! Ancient God Azura Gate immediately shot forward. As an Eye of Space-Time descendant, he was far more proficient in space intent than Zhao Feng. But one of those fists struck Ancient God Azura Gate. Boom! Bang! Ancient God Azura Gate's body was sent flying backward. What a powerful attack! Ancient God Azura Gate vomited several mouthfuls of blood, his face somewhat pale. When he was struck by that punch, he had already used space energy to slow down the impact. But this punch still inflicted significant injuries on him. Damn! This brat is the master of the space-time robe. My space-time abilities are somewhat restricted here. Ancient God Azura Gate cursed. If not for the space-time robe, Zhao Feng's punches, even if they were infused with space intent, would not have been able to hit him. But in reality, Ancient God Azura Gate was stunned by the power of Zhao Feng's space intent. He had the Eye of Space-Time and was a rank 8 Ancient God with peak level 6 space intent. But Zhao Feng was not an Eye of Space-Time descendant. He was only a rank 7 Ancient God with level 6 space intent. If not for this reason, Ancient God Azura Gate would have been able to escape the bindings of the space-time robe. Death Ray. Destruction Ray. At this moment, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 5 activated their eye bloodlines and used powerful eye bloodline techniques. You lot actually colluded with outsiders. Ancient God Azura Gate cursed as he fled. Ancient God Azura Gate finally understood that Ancient God Profound Devil's group had killed members of his faction not because of a personal grudge, but because of Zhao Feng's orders. And Ancient God Azura Gate had ended up in this situation precisely because he had overlooked the factor of Zhao Feng. Anyone who obstructs Master must die. Ancient God Profound Devil roared. At the same time, the automatons of Ancient God Profound Devil's group began to pursue Ancient God Azura Gate. However, even if Ancient God Azura Gate's space-time intent was restricted, Ancient God Profound Devil's group of 5, including the automaton, would find it very difficult to catch up. But Zhao Feng was like a fish in water, his speed not one bit inferior to Ancient God Azura Gate's. Chaos Origin God-Suppressing Seal. Zhao Feng circulated his Chaos Origin divine power, condensing a massive seal that smashed at Ancient God Azura Gate. The range of this attack was extremely large, and Ancient God Azura Gate had to push his speed to the limit in order to barely escape. Tribulation Lightning Eye Flame. The moment Ancient God Azura Gate appeared, Zhao Feng used his Tribulation Lightning Eye Bloodline technique. At the same time, the Chaos Origin God-Suppressing Seal slammed down once more. So. Ancient God Profound Devil's group and the automaton instantly surrounded Ancient God Azura Gate. Space Origin Divine Shield. Ancient God Azura Gate made a final struggle, using a spatial defensive skill to block Zhao Feng's Chaos Origin God-Suppressing Seal. But Ancient God Profound Devil's group and the automatons continued to attack. Damn it, I don't have a way out. Ancient God Azura Gate had a determined look on his face. If he had the automaton, he might have been able to struggle. Go for it. Ancient God Azura Gate stared at Zhao Feng. Swish! His body flashed as he charged at Zhao Feng. Along the way, many attacks came at him. Ancient God Azura Gate dodged most of them, but a small number struck him. However, he ignored his injuries and charged at Zhao Feng. At the same time, his body gradually began to exude a terrifying energy that made Zhao Feng's heart palpitate. Self-detonate. Zhao Feng's God Spiritual Eye could see through everything and instantly see what was going on inside Ancient God Azura Gate's body. But he could not let Ancient God Azura Gate leave just because he wanted to self-detonate. This was because Ancient God Azura Gate could stop this thought at any time. Once he was allowed to leave, Ancient God Azura Gate would inevitably use a space-time secret art to escape, and he would also spread the secret of Zhao Feng's group. Space-time Shackle. Ancient God Azura Gate stared at Zhao Feng. In a flash, a transparent space-time energy formed a square around Zhao Feng, imprisoning him within. This space-time shackle was rather similar to Zhao Feng's space-time seal. However, space-time shackle focused on imprisoning, while space-time seal changed the enemy's state. Die! Ancient God Azura Gate savagely smiled. At this distance, if he self-detonated, Zhao Feng would most likely die. Moreover, he would self-detonate inside the space-time robe. With his rank 8 Ancient God cultivation and reserves, he would be able to inflict severe damage to the space-time robe. In addition, if the Heavenly Demon Hall discovered that he was dead, they could use the powerful Eye of Samsara to revive him. Just when ancient God Azura Gate was gathering all his energy into the eye of space-time and preparing to self-detonate. Space-time seal. Zhao Feng's space-time eye bloodline technique suddenly activated. A moment later, a powerful energy that was both real and illusory descended on ancient God Azura Gate's body, causing his movements and thoughts to become extremely slow. By borrowing the power of the space-time robe, the space-time seal was even more powerful. Swish! Zhao Feng kicked ancient God Azura Gate out of this dimension. Pulling someone and required the other party's agreement or inability to resist, but kicking them out was extremely simple. No! In the outside world, ancient God Azura Gate screamed in pain. In the end, he was at the final juncture of self-detonation. Even if his thoughts and actions were slowed, he would find it difficult to stop the self-detonation. Broom! The gravitational cultivation chamber was instantly engulfed by a destructive storm of energy. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng, ancient god, profound devil, and the others felt the world tremble. 3 seconds later, the situation somewhat stabilized. As expected of a supreme quality defensive divine artifact, ancient god, profound devil excitedly said, "Only a supreme quality defensive divine artifact could stop the self-detonation of a rank 8 ancient god." However, only the owner of the space-time robe, Zhao Feng, could sense that the space-time robe had been damaged once more. "Let's go." Zhao Feng moved ancient god, profound devil's group out of this place, and was the first to discover the explosion. What's going on? How could such a large explosion occur in the gravitational cultivation chamber? In the end, all they could sense was the aura of a fallen soul, nothing else. Have the eye of Samsara descendants prepare to revive the deceased. The Heavenly Demon Hall made this decision and reported the situation to their superiors. No matter who the deceased was, they would know everything once they were revived. Whoosh! Whoosh! Ancient God Profound Devil's group continued on their way. They don't know the cultivation of the deceased. If they send any random Eye of Samsara to revive them, not only will they fail, they will also be heavily injured. Even if they have the ability to revive an Eye of Samsara descendant of ancient God Azura Gate, it will take a very long time. Ancient God Profound Devil was extremely familiar with the abilities of the Eye of Samsara. Before ancient God Azura Gate revives, I have to save the little thieving cat. Zhao Feng's eyes hardened as he sent his mind into the God Eye dimension. At this moment, there was still a short-haired middle-aged man who had been completely suppressed. It was precisely because Zhao Feng was trying to capture this person that ancient God Azura Gate discovered him and almost exposed him. Soul Search. A powerful soul intent surged into the man's soul. Zhao Feng quickly came into contact with the man's memories. Information unrelated to the Heavenly Demon Hall was easily obtained by Zhao Feng. But when he came into contact with the memories of the Heavenly Demon Hall, the middle-aged man's soul immediately began to tremble. Boom! Before he could read any information, the middle-aged man's soul was obliterated by an unstoppable worldly energy. When you're about to reveal any information, you'll immediately die. Zhao Feng found this situation extremely troublesome. But it was precisely because of this that the Heavenly Demon Hall's operations were so rarely known. Many of the major factions of the Antean Zone didn't even know that such a faction was hidden in the Antean Zone. Zhao Feng finally understood what was going on in this place. After all, this was not a secret of the Heavenly Demon Hall. The specific situation was that when the Heavenly Demon Hall captured 2 God Eye descendants of the Space-Time Sacred Land, they left behind some clues that the Space-Time Sacred Land Supreme experts tracked down and found this place. Now, the Space-Time God's disciple, ancient God Scarlet Firmament, had personally come. The strongest expert guarding the secret hall had apparently already left. Hurry to the Heaven's Legacy Cat's territory. Zhao Feng immediately ordered ancient God Profound Devil through the Darkheart Seal. The Heavenly Demon Hall was currently dealing with foreign enemies, So the little thieving cat's territory was at its weakest. Yes, ancient god, profound devil, and the others immediately agreed. Although they had their misgivings, they could not defy Zhao Feng's will. After a long while, the group encountered fewer and fewer people along the way. When they reached a massive violet crystal door, ancient god, profound devil's group stopped. Master, up ahead is the core area of the heavenly demon hall. Normally, this place is heavily guarded and is not to be approached. Ancient god, profound devil solemnly said. Even at a time like this, there should still be guards inside. Within the space-time robe, the bronze coin in Zhao Feng's hand flashed with dazzling starlight. This meant that the little thieving cat wasn't far from him. Go in. If we encounter any guards, we'll subdue them together. Zhao Feng ordered. The group of 5 passed the identification test and passed through the stone door. A circular hall appeared before them. The hall was decorated with stone sculptures of various shapes and sizes, and the walls were decorated with murals depicting bizarre scenes. There's not a single person here. Ancient god, profound devil called out in surprise. Even if an outsider was attacking, the forbidden area of the heavenly demon hall should not have guards patrolling it. Perhaps this was a trap. Advance, Zhao Feng ordered. Although he was hiding in the space-time robe and could not use the god's spiritual eye, he did not notice anything strange. Whoosh, whoosh. Ancient god, profound devil continued forward, but he slowed down a little. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng suddenly noticed something. Retreat. Zhao Feng immediately called out. Ancient god, profound devil's group immediately stopped and began to flee. Die! At this moment, a beautiful figure appeared in the air behind them. This woman had exquisite facial features tinged with a faint chill, and her clothes-fitting silver clothes perfectly accentuated her slender and delicate figure. What's going on? Why does someone from the heavenly demon hall want to kill you? Zhao Feng immediately asked. This person isn't a member of the heavenly demon hall. Ancient god, profound devil firmly said. Whoosh. The silver-clothed woman was extremely fast, far faster than ancient god Azure Gate, and she instantly caught up to ancient god, profound devil's group. Her silver eyes surged with powerful space-time intent, causing the minds of ancient god, profound devil's group to tremble. Die! The silver-clothed woman's face was cold and suffused with faint killing intent. The space-time intent in her eyes caused the surrounding space to slightly twist. This woman is very strong. Within the space-time robe, Zhao Feng was alarmed. They had been able to kill ancient god Azure Gate just now mainly because they had caught him off guard, the restrictions of the space-time robe, and Zhao Feng's group was ganging up on them. But this woman was definitely stronger than ancient god Azure Gate. Unless Zhao Feng used his greatest trump card, he would not be able to deal with her. Slow down. We're also infiltrators. We're colleagues. At this moment, ancient god, profound devil followed Zhao Feng's order and called out. Chapter 1328. Hold on, we're also infiltrators. We're on the same team. At this moment, ancient god, profound devil followed Zhao Feng's order and called out. When the silver-clothed woman saw ancient god, profound devil's group, she immediately began to attack. Ancient god, profound devil's group also confirmed that this person was not a member of the heavenly demon hall. From this, the identity of the other party was obvious. He was definitely an infiltrator. The space-time sacred land had dispatched a group of people outside to hold down the majority of the heavenly demon hall's members, allowing the silver-clothed woman to sneak in. There were no guards in this forbidden area, so they must have been killed by her. Infiltrator? In the same industry? The silver-robed woman's eye power ripples slowed down slightly. She had infiltrated this place and killed many people from the heavenly demon hall, but this was the first time she had heard someone who had been killed say such a thing. In addition, the other party had sensed her in advance. Otherwise, she wouldn't even have had the chance to speak. Do you have any proof? The silver-clothed woman's killing intent didn't diminish, and the eye technique that was brewing in her eyes was still there. It was like if ancient god, profound devil, made the slightest movement, she would immediately kill him. Whoosh! At this moment, a dreamy silver eye appeared in the air above ancient god, profound devil's head. It seemed to be embedded in space and exuded an invisible pressure. When she touched this dreamy silver eye, the silver-robed woman's eyes of space-time inexplicably trembled. At the same time, the dark heart seals on ancient god profound devil's group began to reveal Zhao Feng's soul energy. This should be fine, right? Zhao Feng's soul voice resounded in the air. We were once members of this place, but now we serve the master. Ancient god profound devil immediately said. The silver-robed woman revealed a pondering expression and soon guessed what was going on. The killing intent in her eyes gradually faded, but it didn't disappear. So, it's an ancient god that specializes in the soul element. The silver-robed woman said calmly. From the situation just now, the person hiding in the shadows also had an eye bloodline and specialized in the soul. Currently, several internal members of the Heavenly Demon Hall were being controlled by someone hidden in the shadows. What's your purpose? The silver-robed woman asked directly. Anyone who had the ability to infiltrate this place was definitely not an ordinary person, so she did not underestimate the person hiding in the dark. Furthermore, he had taken such a huge risk to infiltrate this place. His goal was definitely not simple. What is your purpose? Zhao Feng didn't answer. Instead, he asked. The silver-clothed woman raised her eyebrows and said without hesitation, "Save him. My brother has been captured and brought here." After the silver-clothed woman finished speaking, her eyes turned cold and chilling. Her gaze swept over ancient god profound devil's group, causing them to shiver. "I'm done. What's your purpose?" The silver-robed woman said coldly. "Save the cat. My spiritual pet has been caught by them." Zhao Feng did not hide anything. The silver-robed woman's expression became even colder, as if she didn't believe him at all. Infiltrating the Heavenly Demon Hall for a spiritual pet. How could there be such a preposterous thing? However, the Heavenly Demon Hall's secret hall will definitely have experts guarding it. Only by joining hands will we have a chance of successfully entering. Zhao Feng didn't care whether the silver-robed woman believed him or not. The silver-clothed woman did not continue to ask about Zhao Feng's motives. It did not have much to do with her. "Let's go." The silver-robed woman was clearly anxious. Then, she entered the void and moved forward slowly. Ancient god, profound devil's group of 5 followed behind her and gave her many instructions. Although the silver-robed woman was a space-time god, a descendant with profound movement techniques, it was inevitable that she would run into some traps or mechanisms. What a profound spatial concealment technique. Zhao Feng couldn't help but observe the silver-robed woman's spatial concealment technique. Those skilled in space intent could conceal themselves in the void, but that was only concealment. However, that was only for concealment. Once there was a big movement in the void, it would cause a commotion and it would be easy for others to notice. Once the silver-robed woman concealed herself in the void, she maintained an extremely fast speed while also suppressing her ripples to an extremely low level. If one didn't sense her carefully, they would find it very difficult to notice her. I should be able to do it as well. Zhao Feng activated his left eye. His Chaos Heaven Void origin technique primarily cultivated space intent. If he could strengthen his use of space intent, he would undoubtedly be able to strengthen his Chaos Origin Divine Power. Moreover, Zhao Feng had a space-time divine artifact like the space-time robe, so this shouldn't be too difficult. Bzzz. In the outside world, a dreamy silver eye slowly appeared, moving with the group. The dreamy silver eye locked onto the silver-robed woman, and a dreamy luster began to spread. The silver-clothed woman at the forefront raised her eyebrows and revealed a vigilant expression. Just now, she suddenly had the illusion that she had been stripped naked and everything was clearly seen by others. This eye is quite extraordinary. The silver-robed woman thought to herself and ignored him. Other than the descendants of the 8 great god eyes, there was no lack of eye bloodlines that were close to this level. Some eye bloodlines that mutated had extremely unique abilities that could rival the descendants of the 8 great god eyes, but they had slightly less room for growth. Poochie. 2 streaks of silver light streaked past, and the 2 guards who had yet to react were sliced in half at the same time. Furthermore, this spatial attack affected his soul and directly killed him. She killed a rank 7 ancient god in one blow. This woman is even stronger than I imagined. Zhao Feng became more vigilant. Before long, Zhao Feng had completely replicated the silver-robed woman's space concealment technique. However, he didn't have the chance to try it now. After the duplication was successful, the dreamy silver eye floating outside did not disappear. Now that he and the silver-robed woman were working together, they could kill all the guards they encountered, so they didn't have to worry about being exposed. Moreover, this would allow them to observe the enemy and control any movements in their surroundings. Found it. It's that secret hall. Zhao Feng's left eye pierced through all the obstructions to see an extremely tight secret hall guarded by several rank 7 ancient gods. However, this secret hall was rather unique. Zhao Feng was only barely able to see through it and see a few figures. Not good. Someone's coming. Zhao Feng suddenly saw 2 figures flying toward his position. Swish! The dreamy silver eye in the air instantly vanished. Ancient God, profound devil's group of 5 immediately put some distance between them and the silver-robed woman, all of them displaying hostility. The silver-robed woman stared in shock at Ancient God, profound devil's group of 5. These people had just said that they would work together with her, so why were they suddenly putting some distance between them and showing hostility? Could it be that everything just now was fake? It was all they're doing. You tricked me. The silver-robed woman's face was as cold as ice, her killing intent almost tangible. Someone's coming. But a moment later, Zhao Feng's voice resounded in her mind. I still need to use these 5 people. So in front of the members of the Heavenly Demon Hall, we are enemies. Zhao Feng explained. Although the silver-robed woman was confused, she quickly sensed 2 powerful auras. Whoosh! Whoosh! A man and a woman swiftly arrived. Found it. I didn't think that ancient god Luo Ling would infiltrate this place. The 2 of them spoke at the same time, creating an indescribably bizarre atmosphere. But in reality, these 2 samsara immortal bodies were connected to ancient god Netherspring's will. These words were spoken by ancient god Netherspring's will in the secret hall. For ancient god Netherspring to call out the silver-robed woman's name, one could see that she had some reputation. Ancient god Luo Ling's expression darkened. It was clear that these 2 people were beyond her ability to deal with. The 2 of you, why are you here? The Devil Saint God duo stared at Ancient God Profound Devil's group. And who are you? Ancient God Profound Devil bluntly asked. Normally, when almost all the people that appeared here were members of the Heavenly Demon Hall, he would have never asked such a question. But the situation was different now. And besides, these 2 were samsara immortal bodies that they had never seen before. Ancient God Netherspring, the Devil Saint God duo said at the same time, their faces tinged with anger. So it was Elder Netherspring. Ancient God Profound Devil's group immediately grimaced, revealing looks of respect. Reporting to Elder Netherspring, there was a massive explosion in the gravity training room. The 5 of us followed some clues and found this place. We chased this intruder and were planning to capture him, and then report to the elders. Ancient God Profound Devil followed Zhao Feng's description and reported. Such grandiose deeds. Do you really think that you can deal with this person? The Devil Saint God duo coldly snorted, their suspicions of Ancient God Profound Devil's group slightly lessening. It was quite common for people to act alone without notifying their superiors for their own benefit. He also knew about the explosion in the gravity training room. He should have gone over and used his Eye of Samsara to revive the dead, but he had to guard the secret hall and could not leave. Elder Netherspring's lecture is correct, but now that your samsara immortal bodies are here, this woman can only wait to be captured. Ancient God, profound devil, flattered. Oof. The devil saint god, Duo coldly snorted and immediately attacked ancient god, Luo Lingboom. The power the two instantly exploded with caused the divine power and bloodlines of ancient god, profound devil's group to freeze, forcing them to retreat. The tall and muscular man, shrouded in black mist, wielded a large saber with a ghost head and unleashed a sinister and sharp ghost slash. On the other side, the pure and holy woman in white slashed out several beams of holy light from her crystalline sword. Heaven, earth, void dimension. Ancient god Luo Ling activated her eye of space-time, causing spatial blurs to flicker around her. Swish! After using this move, ancient god Luo Ling was like a fish in water in this dimension, her body almost unfathomable. At some point, a small silver scimitar had appeared in her hand. Ooish! With a light swing, she unleashed a sharp and swift beam of spatial energy. However, the Devil Saint God duo were samsara, immortal bodies. Ordinary attacks could instantly heal them even if they were injured. Ghost Demon Blade, Holy Light Fairy Spirit Sword. As samsara, immortal bodies, the Devil Saint God duo had no qualms about attacking. All three are peak rank 8s. Through this battle, Zhao Feng had gained a clear understanding of the cultivation levels of these three. In a one-on-one battle, neither of the Devil Saint God duo was a match for ancient god Luo Ling. But now that they were samsara, immortal bodies, they had no qualms, so they actually had the advantage. I'll help you. In the darkness, Zhao Feng messaged ancient god Luo Ling. He needed ancient god Luo Ling's strength at this time, or else he would find it very difficult to smoothly enter the secret hall and rescue the little thieving cat. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.